Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning. A lot of people are at church, I think. So hopefully everybody's listening. We're going to have a big Intel day. A lot of news is coming out, you guys. So, we got Nell last night over an hour one. And we got Lucy first. Lucy, I just sent you a photo. I got my fruit today. Yep. Today is a cold day here. How we said it was nice yesterday, now it's 40, but it feels 21 degrees. It's the cold breeze. So it's a cold one. No park today for Chico. He's cuddled up being warm. So my teams won last night. Another one plays today. And then the big tournament starts next week. And then, yeah, the USA plays at 8 tonight, but I can watch it while we're on. So we're going to have a. I found some good stuff again. I got a couple 40-minute ones and a couple, like I said, they're good ones too to listen. So I got to keep track of everything. The one guy on TikTok that goes 10 minutes, I got him. Yep. Hey, finally go. So got everything all done today and got my shopping done Friday. So I'm good for all month, the whole month. So good stuff I found again. Finally got that Nell has a big one today from last night, hour and 15. So since it's cold and everything, there's really nothing else to do but do the news. Billy hasn't came out yet. Oh, that funny one on YouTube, Fine Eagle, she has one. The guy got arrested for not paying $8 for, I guess, gas or something. I don't know what it was. Or some kind of item at the store.
Add.
I'll wait a few more minutes. I got a couple, I think 3D Derek videos too, Flying Eagle. So let me know on how those are. Oh, that one funny lady on Tick, Lucy's not out yet. I think there might be one, but I gotta find it. She'll be out later, probably. Yeah, busy Intel day. Mel's out an hour and 15. Okay. Samantha, I don't know if you heard me at the beginning about what our schedule was today, but we're going to have a busy day today. We'll play Mel's video when we get everybody in here. I don't know if Spaz is going to be listening this morning or not. I want to make sure. But so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get the short videos in. I got a lot of short videos. Get all the good stuff in. A lot of people are at church. So I think we'll just go ahead and get going here. The first two, I believe, is from the Pennsylvania state, Lucy State. Let me know if you know where that area is, if you're close by there, Lucy.
The proposed data centers. Yes, there's not one single permit issued yet to build a data center, yet this is what they did to the land this past month. There's a closer view of it on the right. That's the Scranton-Carbondale Highway in German, and then at the far end is Einen, where I live. There's a close-up view. There are so many negatives that I could go on and on about with these data centers, but the main one I want to talk about is my personal experience living in Einen. I live on the far end of this, so right at the top of this, and that's where Stayback Park is. This is now the fields behind Stayback Park are going to be. These are pictures I took just last September. Not only is it the most beautiful place in Archbold, but it's where all the animals live. If you know anything about Archbold, you know that all these new developments have been being built since the early 2000s. So where did all the animals go? They went here, and they've been here ever since. I walk back here, and I'm not even kidding. It's like a documentary of planet Earth. Every time there's deer running through. Walking on this path, there's turtles everywhere because there's natural marshes all in these fields. There's frogs jumping around. There's tracks for every type of animal. There's birds everywhere. I've seen cranes sitting in these marshes. All of those woods you see in the back are the previous pictures of the deforestation. It's no longer there. And this land I'm showing you is set to be gone very soon. This was today, right on the side of the road, outside the Einen German road. Dead baby black bear because he was trying to leave because all of the woods got cut down and he got hit by a car. Every single day in the Stop Archbold Data Center's Facebook group, there's pictures of dead deer, there's pictures of deer looking around wondering what the hell is going on. A lot of you saw my last video of the data center proponents, these attorneys, these professionals, who literally were gaslighting everyone in the audience and making everyone feel stupid. Well, the continuation of the meeting is tomorrow night, March 10th, Tuesday at 5 o'clock. The lack of attendance at the last meeting was pitiful. I'm just going to say that. If these men do not see anyone in the audience, they're just going to roll over everyone and these are going to get passed. Council is on the left side of this picture that I'm not seeing. If Archbold Council doesn't see anyone at these meetings, they're just going to let it slide because they don't have anyone putting pressure on them. The auditorium needs to be filled tomorrow. More and more people are getting angry about this. If you live in Lackawanna County, please show up. If you can't be there at 5, come whenever. There's so many people coming at 6 and 7 when they get out of work. Share this, send it to someone, come to the meeting. All you have to do is sit there and listen to what they have to say. They just need to feel like people care and feel like people are putting pressure on them. You could say, yeah, it's over. They're already clearing the land. They don't have any permits to do this. It is just not over yet. They need people at these meetings. They need people in opposition to this.
Okay, I got a second one here. I only saw the part 1.
You've probably heard about the data centers that are being proposed in Archbold. I need to give everyone the magnitude of what's going on. This is in one small town. This is where I live. This is Archbold. All of the red buildings you see are proposed data centers. Keep in mind that this is all within a 1 or 2 mile radius. This is a closer view on your left. That's the Wildcat Ridge proposed data center. And on the right, those are the ones that I made a video about 2 days ago. There's a closer view. That's where all those trees were knocked down. You can see the Valley soccer field. That's Stayback Park and all those fields that I posted pictures of. This is what one data center looks like. It is not one building. One data center. This is the Wildcat Ridge one on the mountain. 14 buildings. Each building is in that yellow color. You see a white little box on each of the yellow buildings. Guess what's going there? 41 diesel-fueled backup generators. There's going to be over 1 million gallons of diesel fuel sitting on this mountain, made of coal. If you didn't know, Lackawanna County is entirely made up of coal dumps. Just think about that point for a second. 1 million gallons of diesel fuel sitting on a coal mine. Okay, let me touch on what's going on inside of a data center. What is a data center? Very simple terms, a data center is an information warehouse for computers. Issue is that they need constant cooling or it will overheat. For this one on the left, this is called the Wildcat Ridge Data Center. We were quoted 3.3 million gallons of water a day on the hottest days of the year. They're claiming they're going to get the water from Lake Scranton. Valley all the way to Old Forge, we don't even use that many gallons of water a day. We already see droughts at Lake Scranton in our hottest months. How are they going to keep up with that? That's my biggest question. Think about it. 3.3 million gallons was quoted for one center. There's 3 big centers. 3.3 million gallons plus the 78,000 it takes for sanitation in the building. We're going to say 10 million gallons of water a day during the hottest months of the year. It's not possible. You might be asking yourself what I constantly ask myself. How did we get in this position? How did it get this far to where they're cutting down acres and acres of trees already? In my part 2 of this video, I'm going to explain how we got to where we are now and the timeline of things that have occurred up until today, which is March 11th, 2026. If you live in North...
Okay, yes. People from Pennsylvania news, Lucy, and I'm not sure who else is from Pennsylvania. Under 4 minutes, I think.
To continue watching videos without ads, you can subscribe via the Gumroad link below the description. If you want to watch the latest free videos, you can visit milledailyblog.com. If you continue to love and support us, you can donate to us via GiveSendGo or PayPal or Gumroad link below the description. God bless us all. Nick Fleming RVGCR Intel Update March 14, 2026. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website milledailyblog.com. Mountain Goat article, Iraq without a government, a legal proposal that could break the political deadlock. This article makes it very clear what is going to happen with the CN to break the deadlock and why al-Sudani is going to be the nominee, or should I say is now the nominee over al-Maliki. Yes, there is still a few objections to al-Sudani, and some members of the coordination framework still believe they will get to pick another nominee over Maliki and not use al-Sudani. But they are wrong, and this will not happen. Article quote: the dispute over the definition of the largest bloc have frozen constitutional processes, amid anticipation of what will result from last-minute understandings between the forces holding the reins of the initiative. This paragraph literally means that in the last days that interpretations of the Iraqi constitution on how to define the largest bloc have been finally worked out by the courts, and the recent decision is going to end the deadlock for the CN and prevent it in future. This is factual coming from Iraqi News, Marks. Via PDK, still quiet on the bond side, still have a number of folks expecting to close deals, and this coming week, and over the weekend will be stunning, amazing and unreal. The expectation is over this weekend we will see Sudani as the nominee, which means they would quickly move forward with seating the president, then Sudani early in the week. Frank 26, KTFA, Iraq Boots on the Ground Report. Firefly Television shows us about our cash liquidity crisis. They're saying the citizens of Iraq are now starting to take their money out of the banks. They're doing it in large amounts, and they're doing it very quickly. There's a few banks here having trouble funding us cash.
I don't think I played this one, did I?
Yeah, you have a serious liquidity issue. Very serious. You need to raise the value of your currency. I don't blame the Iraqi citizens one bit for doing this. There are consequences for not raising the value. The coordinated framework is part of a spiderweb structure that causes trouble in Iraq. You have the politicians from Iran that infected Iraq. You have the militias, the soldiers, the TT cells that have infected Iraq. They want to survive. They want to cooperate. They want to continue. A good percentage of them are still Iranians, and they don't want to lose that position of power. The CF was a constipation of the monetary reform, and it needed to be removed, corrected. Iranian influence constipated the monetary reform, did not allow it to flow. Pimpy, what happens in Iran does one way or another affect what goes on in Iraq. The politicians that are in charge and in power are all Iranian-backed politicians, and I'm sure there's a lot of concern about what's going on in Iran, especially when you see all of the leadership get wiped out. Stephen. This has me a little bit concerned. If you hold the Iraqi dinar and you are hoping for a revaluation like most of us are, Iran blew up 2 Iraqi oil takers. That's not good, because Iraq's primary way of backing up the Iraqi dinar once they do revalue or reinstate is by oil reserves. If you take that away from the country of Iraq, if you take away their ability to transport oil, then I hate to say this, and a lot of you are probably not going to like this, but you can kiss any hopes of an Iraqi dinar revaluation goodbye for a very long time. The good news here is Iran only attacked 2 of the Iraqi oil tankers from the reports I've seen. Also, Iraq has shut down their oil ports. Jeff, nobody knows the actual date and time the rate is going to change within the country of Iraq. The most we can do is study current and historical data to see when the rate might change, a possibility. Militiaman. Iraq and Iran ties remain complex. But Iraq is insulated in advancing reforms without direct involvement. There's no new major concerns today. The quiet momentum holds. No new concerns even under this conflict: immigration, trade, digital finance, capital flows, all on track. And the political cleanup favors stability. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website miledailyblog.com. Sincere thanks to all our audience. To continue watching videos without ads, you can subscribe via the Gumroad link below the description. If you want to watch the latest free videos, you can visit.
Okay, I got that one. I got a 40-minute one with that later on. I got 2 Dallas news from that one lady.
I'm Christina Awire in
7
Dallas,
minutes
and
on this
here
one.
are your top stories. Here's a fast fact for you. Nancy Mace's attempt to subpoena Ilhan Omar's immigration records was immediately shut down by quote-unquote leadership. Representative Mace out of South Carolina recently tried to hold Representative Omar out of Minnesota accountable for immigration fraud, but fell flat because she said that both Democrats and Republicans continue to protect Omar. It happened in a January House Oversight Committee hearing focused on massive fraud schemes in Minnesota, where more than $9 billion taxpayer dollars were stolen by Somali migrants under former Governor Tim Walz's watch. Mace introduced a motion to subpoena records from DHS and ICE related to Omar, her ex-husband, who is also her alleged brother, Ahmed Almi, and other family members to investigate violations of federal immigration laws that could jeopardize Omar's naturalization and eligibility for Congress. This move was directly tied to accusations that Omar married her brother to secure his U.S. residency, a charge Omar has repeatedly denied, saying the accusations are nothing more than Islamophobia. After a heated debate, including a retaliatory amendment from Representative Robert Garcia out of California to investigate Representative Corey Mills's military and business records, the committee opted to table Mace's motion, effectively killing it. Mace said this dodge allowed Republicans to avoid accountability while siding with Democrats to bury the investigation, saying, quote, "It was Republicans that killed my motion." Republicans who voiced opposition during the hearing included Representative Scott Perry out of Pennsylvania, who warned of setting a dangerous precedent. Representative Stephen Lynch out of Massachusetts, who called the motion out of order. The same women representatives who have been nonstop demanding the full release of the Epstein files to quote unquote protect victims have voted against releasing the names of Congress members who abused women and used taxpayer dollars to cover it up. Some of the names include Nancy Pelosi, Maggie Goodlander, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Ariana Presley, and AOC. 357 members, 182 Democrats and 175 Republicans, voted to refer the resolution to the Ethics Committee, effectively killing it and keeping the records hidden. Meanwhile, Representative Anna Paulina Luna slammed her colleagues for the, quote, hypocritical vote, saying these types of actions are the reason Americans hate Congress. Luna's comments came during a House Oversight Committee hearing where she criticized both parties for blocking the bill that would expose the slush funds used to pay off assault claims. Watch.
I just think it's really disgusting how this institution protects itself, because y'all just half of them voted to send this stuff to House Ethics where you know it's going to die. We know that members of Congress are using taxpayer dollars to pay off sexual harassment. We just had a member of Congress literally sexually harass a woman that then lit herself on fire, and you guys all protected him. You guys all protect him. My own side, your side. And so if you guys want to talk about victims, if you want to go out and virtue signal, and then you guys are going to kill her stuff on the floor and then try to pass. Yeah, of course, we should subpoena all of this stuff. But just, I'm not going to sit here and play games. I think it's a complete fraud. I think that's why the American people hate us. I think the midterms are coming up and everyone should go on record for this. And I hope that members are exposed for this. I hope it goes back, I think, to the 70s, because it's wrong that it's happening. It's wrong that we cover up for it. It's wrong that we can't censor our own side because people are busy making deals because you guys don't want to censor your side. It's a deal that's been cut and people hate us for it. So yeah, I support it.
Among the 357 who voted against making the records public were several high-profile Democrats who have loudly demanded transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Okay, guys, real quick, before we get back to more news, I got to tell you about a company that could save you a lot of money and get you in the right Medicare plan that is right for you. Don't worry, it's completely free. These experts don't work on commission or get any kickbacks, so you can be sure they will be doing exactly what is best for you. It's Chapter. They know everything there is to know about Medicare and all the changes. So if you'd like them to research all the plans, save you time, money, and frustration, and find the perfect plan for you, call them. It'll take 20 minutes of your time, and it will definitely be well worth it. All you have to do is call 347-960-3244 and tell them you need a little bit of help. Again, that's Chapter at 347-960-3244, or you can go to chapter.org/Christina. You'll find the details in the description below. Democrat James Tallarico opposing a bill to ban litter boxes in classrooms for students identifying as animals is back in the spotlight after his Senate primary victory. The comments are from a 2025 Texas legislative hearing where Tallarico, a self-described Christian, grilled the author of the Furries Act. The Furries Act was introduced in March of last year to prohibit non-human behaviors in schools, like students using litter boxes, wearing animal tails or collars, or making animal noises like barking or meowing. Tallarico focused on litter boxes and repeatedly pressed Republican Representative Stan Gertis on whether he could name a school that provided litter boxes. He couldn't. Tallarico then dismissed the bill as a, quote, manufactured, debunked smear campaign against public schools. However, critics say this moment is an example of Tallarico's habit of opposing GOP measures protecting children from what they call, quote, radical gender and identity ideologies infiltrating education. The Furries Act was supported by Governor Greg Abbott, who cited reports of, quote, kids in 2 rural school districts going to school dressed up as cats with litter boxes in their classrooms. Tallarico struck down the bill by saying it was a conspiracy theory, claiming no evidence supported the litter box rumors, and accused Republicans of using it to, quote, defund neighborhood schools by turning Texans against them. He said the hearing was a waste of time, calling it weird and a little creepy. Tallarico is a staunch advocate for gender fluidity and transgender rights, saying concerns against those rights are baseless attacks. He also supports sex surgeries for minors and opposed multiple text bills banning the procedures. He argued that transgenders should participate in sports that correlate with their gender identity, saying, quote, trans children are God's children made in God's own image. God is non-binary. Okay, here's some fast facts for you. Some schools that were accused of having litter boxes: Midland Public Schools in Michigan. A parents' report at a 2021 board meeting exposed it, but the superintendent denied there were litter boxes on school grounds. Pinkerton Academy in New Hampshire. A report was made in 2022. The school denied it. Durango School District in Colorado. Representative Lauren Boebert revealed litter boxes. The district denied it. Evansville School Corporation in Indiana. Reports poured in locally in 2022. Officials called them ridiculous and false. Jefferson County School District in Colorado, which includes Columbine High School. Reports were made, and officials clarified that they keep cat litter in emergency go buckets for lockdowns. Reports also came in for districts in Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, Montana, Prince Edward Island, Canada, and others, all publicly denied. That's what you need to know. In Dallas, Christina Awaya.
Well, good from her, Dallas. One more.
I'm Christina Awaya in Dallas, and here are your top stories. Here's a fast fact.
Hang on a second. Come on, come up there. Here you go. Oh. I thought I had 2 of them. Oh, what happened here? Oh yeah, here's a good one for you guys. Rocket.
By Dallas SWAT during a tense standoff when he pulled out a gun and pointed it at officers, according to sources. The security guard for the Democrat representative was a wanted fugitive. Mike King was wanted for impersonating a law enforcement officer. He served on the protection detail for Representative Crockett. Police say King, who was driving a replica undercover police vehicle and used license plates stolen from cars outside of a military recruiting office, had a lengthy criminal history. King also oversaw teams of real off-duty police officers hired for protection. The shooting happened when King drove into the parking garage of Children's Health Hospital in downtown Dallas, barricaded himself inside, and ignored commands to surrender. Officers deployed tear gas to get King to come out. However, they say he pulled out a gun instead, forcing SWAT to open fire. He was pronounced dead at the scene. King can be seen standing close to Crockett in photos from campaign events and public appearances, prompting critics to question how a criminal who was a wanted fugitive was able to manage extra duty jobs for police officers and secure a high-level security role for a sitting member of Congress. Crockett's campaign finance records show payments made to a Mike King for security services as recently as 2025. Crockett's office has declined to comment on whether background checks were done or if any red flags were ignored. Okay, here are some details. King was actively wanted on impersonating a police officer. He falsely presented himself as a certified officer to operate his business. He founded and ran Off-Duty Police Services, an online platform that linked North Texas police officers with side gigs for private security, even though he didn't have any certification. King profited in that business by posing as a police officer, gaining the trust of his clients. King used multiple aliases, with authorities saying they have not released his true identity. King drove a fake police car that was outfitted with features mimicking official vehicles, including those stolen license plates taken from cars parked outside of military recruiting offices. This added layers of theft and fraud to his charges. King managed security operations at several downtown Dallas hotels and at his local church on the premise that he was an official police officer. That's what you need to know. In Dallas, Christina Awaya.
Can't she hire somebody more experienced? I guess she has no one to protect her. Those are two important ones there from Dallas News Lady.
Did you know that Trump did not get his intel from the Pentagon to attack Iran, but he got it from his son-in-law, Jared Kushner? Why is he able to make decisions like that? Did you know that there's a man named Jared in the Bible? And he was a patriarch that lived before the flood of Noah. And he fathered Enoch from the tribe of Seth. Did you know the name Jared means to descend, or servant, or one who rules? We also just found out that he was behind the Gaza Riviera plan, and that he planned this Riviera way before the October 7th attacks happened. Now let's look at his last name, Kushner, because we know that Cush fathered Nimrod, who was evil. Cush means black and is the name of a traitor who hates Israel. He's also the man that was behind the Abrahamic Peace Accords. He also owns 665th Avenue, which was formerly 666 Fifth Avenue. It's almost like Trump is making a way for him to come onto the scene. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but up until recently, he has been in the background, and now he's starting to show face a lot lately. Makes you wonder. Listen up. Let's talk about this creepy looking fella here.
Thanks for supporting it. Let's be respectful. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know she paid him that kind of money. Okay, this is yesterday, I think.
The year of our Lord 2026.
Oh.
Recently, a lawsuit was filed against the members and the staffers of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, that the president commissioned those staffers to eliminate waste and fraud in our government and try to trim some of the waste and fraud, basically. But here's the interesting point. What they're talking, what this lawsuit is about, is how these young men and staffers were basically using Chat GPT and I guess, AI to determine if certain grants that were put out by the USAID and various other organizations based on the DEI narrative. And what these young men would do, they didn't have a whole lot of knowledge, but it was a quicker way of deciding that these grants that were based on the DEI narrative that these organizations would get in the hundreds of millions of dollars, they would cancel the grant. There's a lot of ramifications as a result. People would no longer be hired. These organizations were put out of business, which is precisely what we're trying to do. Get rid of literally insane, not reality-based, I guess, studies, investigations, organizations, completely out of touch with reality. This young man, Mr. Kavanaugh, I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show you here in just a minute him talking about a specific grant that was denied, and to include the DEI narrative is based in identity politics. No longer, or let me put it to you this way. When you have DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, as your premise to hire people or fire people or whatever, okay, that's a violation of everyone's rights. It is discriminatory. It is hiring a person based on their identity, sexual, ethnicity, color of their skin. But for some reason, the Marxists now have filed this lawsuit against Doge, and they deposed these young men and said this is unlawful and there's been damages and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want you to pay very close attention. Now, these young men were handpicked, okay, because of their IQ. Their IQs are about twice as high as mine. Okay, I don't claim to be super smart. These young men, like Mr. Kavanaugh, yeah, he's really smart. But the point is, watch this as this plays out. And here's the thing I want to say. I've studied this. In our documentary, I'll explain in a minute here. In our second documentary called Defining a Nation, I talk about how this DEI narrative literally is a weapon. It's the use of hostile social manipulation to fundamentally transform your values and this nation's core values and perceptions of, or our perceptions of who we are as citizens of this country. Check this out. Stay with me. Now, stay with me. This young man, Mr. Kavanaugh, is identifying DEI-based grants that may say, or applications to get grant money to study certain things that involve DEI, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But listen to what he has to say. This is a very intelligent young man.
You don't regret that people might have lost important income to support their lives?
No. I think it was more important to reduce the federal deficit from $2 trillion to close to zero.
Did you reduce the federal deficit?
No, we didn't.
This is a history of the HIV/AIDS prison movement and its legacies in the United States. My book project narrates how activists fought
He knows.
HIV/AIDS.
It's a joke what they're saying.
Outside prisons across the Reagan through Clinton years, and argues that this organizing holds legacies in the prison abolition movement of the 1990s to today.
They wanted to abolish prisons.
You or Mr. Fox identified as craziest at any age, is that right?
That's right.
Why did you identify this as one of the craziest, Frank?
Because it references feminist and queer insights into prison abolition and LGBTQ studies.
Any other reasons?
No.
Examining military service from the margins, the complicated service discussion series will bring together veterans and community members to examine the experiences of service members who identify themselves as female, Black, Native American, LGBTQ, or an immigrant, the dynamics, reasoning, and the strength behind serving a country that does not always serve you in return. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
You and Mr. Fox identified this as one of the craziest grants at any age?
Yes, it appears so.
Why did you do that?
Because it explicitly says LGBTQ.
It specifically says LGBTQ. Stay with me. You're going to love this as I explain this out. He says right to the lawyer's face, because it says LGBTQ. Anything that is based on a person's identity, their skin, their ethnicity, their sexual orientation, whether their belief system, that is a violation of all of our rights. We have to hire people or fire people based on their qualifications or their lack of. If they've made a wrong move, you can get fired, okay? Here's the interesting point. He just puts it right in his face. The guy said, well, why did you cancel these grants? And the guy says, well, because it says LGBTQ. It's identity politics. The Marxists in this country, and here's the interesting point. The Marxists in this country are going after these kids, these young men, and going after anybody that was part of Doge. More importantly, they're harassing them, and a judge, Miss Colleen McCullough, literally said, take these posts down, because guess what? These kids, these young men, brilliant young men, are being harassed, and don't be surprised if one or two of them gets taken out. Don't be surprised. This is part of the Marxist political warfare that I talk about in my documentaries. In our second documentary, we talk about DEI and how within that DEI program, there's a I guess what you might say, an element called IAT, implicit assessment testing. It literally is a control mechanism devised by these, I guess, Marxists to literally take control of you and your future. It can literally, if you're working for someone and they can decide through this IAT system that you're bigoted or have preferences that doesn't align with their DEI narrative, they will have to train that bigotry or those preferences out of you, and fundamentally change your core beliefs. This is hostile social manipulation on an industrial scale. Look into IAT within the DEI program. It's called implicit assessment testing. I believe, in my opinion, and I've studied this and I've looked into it, IAT is literally the most dangerous set of control mechanisms ever devised by man. This is a major component of the Biden administration's war on our society, on us as individuals and our core values and beliefs, and this nation's, I guess what you might say, citizenry, to be able to define who they are in our first document, and the second documentary. Biden says, no one can define for me what an American is. Watch our documentaries. Go to preservingamericaepac.com. Watch our documentaries. I can define what I am. I'm an American. I'm a citizen of the United States. Go to our website, preservingamericaepac.com. Watch our documentaries. Watch how this plays out.
Okay, that was yesterday from the TikTok guy. So I'm going to play one DJ and a couple short ones, and then we'll do Mel, you guys. That will be an hour and 12. About 3 minutes.
If we get ticketing fixed, President Trump might get a win. So all of a sudden it's this bipartisan issue, which really is not bipartisan at all. This is just about trying to get someone like myself, any artist, for who they are. Just trying to get the tickets that we want to sell to the prices we set into the hands of the people that want to see us at those prices. But make no mistake, I'm a capitalist through and through. Make as much money as you can. But when you see what's going on at the top level, they're just screwing people over, just taking advantage of them. Something's got to change. And I said from the beginning, like, should Ticketmaster be broke up from Live Nation? Yeah, probably. But that doesn't solve the problem. Congress needs to get off their asses and pass legislation, you know, to help working class people who just want. I told the president one time, I go, after you keep people safe and get the economy going like you got it firing and everything's great, what do people want? They want to have fun. They want to have fun, man.
So who are the real villains here, and what would that legislation look like that would fix this?
I mean, you could do what they're doing in Europe already, is put a cap on a resale of a ticket. You could put a 10 or 15% cap. Maybe big tech will solve this coming up in the future. You know, there's all these things, but they could pass a law. Number one, just give the power to the artist. I'm talking about music. It's even worse in sports, but that's not my fight. It's give the power to the artist. Like, you can't put anybody in your building unless I show up there. Unless we show up there. So let me dictate how I want to sell my tickets, who I want to sell those tickets through, and how I want to sell them. I mean, it's that simple, but, you know, it's all this left-wing, right-wing crap. It's like, can we just get back to being Americans first and try to get something done that helps working class people in this country?
I love it, but it is shameful that you don't have a lot more support among the entertainment community, and that politics may be the reason behind it. We appreciate you joining us. You're a plain-spoken man who always speaks the truth, and we love that you're a free man, and that's why you do speak the truth.
Come back and keep us
posted. I did everything I could. I did everything I could this morning because it's the Lord's Day Sunday, not to use curse words because I'm so pissed off about everything that's going on right now.
You kind of did. Would you promise me you'll give a hug to your mama, Susan, for me?
My mama loves you, Rachel.
I love her too.
We love you.
All right, stay in the fight.
Come back and tell us what happens.
Fight, fight, fight.
Okay, Kid Rock news. All right, DJ one is about 14. Finding I don't think I played it, but I might have. Excuse me.
Keith Kellogg. And I mean that with the utmost respect, because now, from here out, again, you call him General Keith Kellogg, all right, who was named the, ambassador to Ukraine, right, recently. All right, but General Keith Kellogg, over in North Carolina last year, President Trump's speeches over there before the storm and all. President Trump said, I'd like to honor someone. I'd like to give a shout out to someone who's been with me before all of this. What does that mean, President Trump? What do you mean all of this? What is this? I know what it is. Do you? Right? Before all what, President Trump? That's what all the average people go, what is this? Define this. And he looked over and said, General Keith Kellogg. General Keith Kellogg is the author of the National Security Strategy from 2017. And if you remember, I posted this last year. The mainstream media said that, there's a new 2025 national security strategy that's out just in case President Trump gets the presidency. He can already be studied up on it. I love this stuff. Nowhere in history have we ever had a national security strategy put out before any president. But just in case President Trump gets the presidency, he can be studied up on it. Guess who the author was? Is General Keith Kellogg. How come on Department of Defense, the official Department of Defense that I have my press credentials from, how come the last national security strategy
you guys remember this one?
Defense.mil is 2017? Where's Biden's from 2022? How come you can't click on Biden's anymore and it go over? Because, there's no archives of anything of Biden. Now, there's a Biden archive page, but where are all the stuff archived? Where is it? It's not there. There's nothing there. There's no former orders anywhere. You can't find this stuff. Yes, it's on the federalregister.gov, the executive orders, but that's a continuity of government. The auto pen, President Trump said that auto pen, he's already validated me to Pluto 1,000,000 times and back. Flat Earth, round Earth, square Earth, octangle, whatever, rectangle Earth. It don't matter what Earth you want to believe in. I've been validated to Pluto and back. If you don't believe in Pluto, then insert whatever you want to insert there. Skittles, whatever, Snickers bars, Three Musketeers, whatever you want to put there, put it there. I've been validated to it and back. Because I'm operating with what President Trump's operating with. It's called military laws, military orders. Federal laws, federal orders that pair with those. Now, there's been no White House military office. If you go to Google again and type in whitehouse.militaryoffice.gov, guess what the last one pops up is? Obama's. The White House military office, ladies and gentlemen, is the logistics of the president. Presidential travel, Air Force One, Air Force Two, your Marine One. Where are they? Where's President Trump's at? Because of the military government. Military occupation. Military. I love this stuff, man. You can't be more. It's like, you know what's awesome about it too, though? You know what's awesome about being right? You know, if there's a point for me to brag, you know what's awesome about being right? You know what's cool about it? Is it's exposed all your wannabes, it's exposed all your negative, it's exposed everybody that don't want to work, don't want to be a good, decent human being. But the key thing, you know what's awesome about being right? I had a sergeant that came to me 3 years ago before I went viral. All right. Before I went viral, I have a sergeant who messaged me. He said, Derek, you have a unique voice. You have a unique personality, but you love people and you're good to everybody. You're the one person who can take two people arguing and get them to come to a neutral ground if they're capable of being a good, decent human being. If they're two good people and they just can't meet eye to eye, you're the person who can go in the middle of them and say, hey, what are we doing here? This sergeant, he's still in the military too, by the way. All right. Great. One of the greatest leaders I've ever been around. One of the greatest. And I hope he achieves everything in the military, and he deserves it. I hope God clears a way for him to get every leadership position because he deserves it. He told me, he said, Derek, you have a unique voice, unique personality. He said, but here's the thing. The only way our fallen brothers and sisters can be truly honored is for someone to always honor them. It's really that simple. Like I said, but use your platform. Take your platform and use it that way. It was like, and tell their story. Tell the story. Tell the military side. Tell the military laws. Tell the military orders. Tell that part. And see, that's how we honor our fallen. Because whether they knew what they served under or not, it doesn't matter. They fell for this country. They took a fall for this nation. They're in a grave right now for this nation. That's why it matters. That's why it matters. They paid the ultimate sacrifice for you to have your life, to you to have your freedoms, to keep this ideology of America going. That is what veteran is all about. It ain't about how many tours you did and this, that. It ain't got nothing to do with that. And the veterans out there that do that, you've got to work on yourself too. It ain't got a thing with belittling your brothers and sisters on what they didn't do. If you focus all the time on what people didn't do in anything, not just military, we got to get out of that. It ain't about what you didn't do. It's what you did do and how much you did and how much you gave. Now, President Trump just truth something. I mean, early this morning, like early wee hours. It was last night. I can't remember. But President Trump truth that the president of El Salvador is coming to visit. All right. He said we're looking forward to keeping our work up and our operations. What? Well, ladies and gentlemen, first 180 days, April the 1st. This wasn't no fools though, but April the 1st, 2020. The first 180 days, first 180 business days, Title 50, Chapter 33, Section 1550, Southern Command. Remember I slipped up earlier? I was talking about Special Operations Southern Command launched a counter-narcotics operation with 22 joint partners. El Salvador is one of them. All right. And it's what? It's a counter-narcotics operation. So there's your fentanyl, your cocaine, all drugs. All right. But President Trump didn't just, it ain't just that. It is not just drug operation. They also busting all these cartels with sex trafficking, human trafficking. All right. That, trafficking, all kinds of trafficking. First 180 days, validation right there. El Salvador.
You were lurking, weren't you?
You look at this big prison they put down there.
Hour and 12 minutes coming up.
Joint partners. They've been our joint partner. All right, so, that's the stuff that gets me, though, about the liberals out there. Is that if there's a liberal with a good heart and a good mind, I've yet to find one. But if there is, then they need the material. That's why it's important that you divorce your emotions, divorce your feelings, go, okay, if you're a decent person at the end of the day, it don't matter what background you are, ethnicity, nationality, what your religion is, what your preferences are, none of that. All right. Too many people are letting that hamper and get in the way of real truth, real facts.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Because you don't have to like some of this stuff, but you still, even if you don't like it, you still need to know it because, again, you're not in control. You're never going to be in control. All right. The good guys and gals are in control and cleaning out the world. All right. And the closer we get, everything's going to be so. President Trump said it. You're going to be winning so much. You're going to get tired of winning. So see, what's going to also happen is when all the money's freed up, your taxes, certain taxes are gone, and all your money's coming in, and your paycheck's worth your paycheck again, right? And you're able to do things without constraint and burdens of the career politicians and the bureaucrats and the swamp and the global alliance. When all that starts rolling, we're going to be winning so much. He already said it. Our retribution will come through success. So all of you out there who have jumped ship because you haven't seen someone arrested or you haven't seen someone strung up and executed, you have the wrong attitude. All right, because in military, even in humanitarian law of the military, you are to treat your prisoner of war with dignity and respect. Meaning that, you can punish them. Yes, by what's deemable by punishment. However, God does the judging. And that's for so many Americans. Oh my God, have mercy on social media, the comment boxes, the judgment all day long. But if it was that person making the comment, if it was them, it'd be the polar opposite. So if everybody would start practicing again, being a good, decent human being, all right, what they're going to do, what it looks like they're going to do, and I feel this in my heart. Now, you can be a full-fledged secret military part of the operation and still not know what the commander is going to do. That's just part of military. And a lot of you out there, you want stuff when you want it. And the military don't work like that. Hurry up and wait. So that's why some of you don't have the patience because you've never been in it. All right. Hurry up and wait. But at the same time, we want this done lawfully, no loopholes, morally, ethically, with integrity. But the one moment that you deviate from any of those and you cut a corner, then guess what you've done? You've validated all those and you have no foundation to stand on. So next time you say laws and orders, we're a nation of laws and orders, someone's going to go, yeah, but you made a shortcut here. You violated this one. That's why it had to be done this way. So if you get that in your head, the justice part all of that portion, when Americans appreciate what's
I might
been
have played
done
this, but some people might have
by your
missed it.
foundation,
So
your
sorry
core
if I
values,
played
your
it
principles,
already.
your ethics, your morals, your standards, and then your integrity of all those. When we're winning so much, once so many Americans and even liberals, there's going to be a massive portion of liberals who are going, whoa. Because when you start seeing results of what someone has said, consistency matters. Come on, preach, Derek. Preach. Consistency matters. When someone's been consistent and validation starts rolling of that consistency, rolling operation, when that happens, you can't argue with it. And when it's good for you, you're not going to complain. So see, when everything's flowing, we've gone through the operation part of it. We had to go through a rough patch, yes, because we've been doing operations in trafficking, all forms of it. They had to go in there and find the gold. They had to go back in there and clean these systems out. You had to codify these systems. You're not thinking about all the banks that were decentralized. You have to decentralize all this. You got to train people in the new systems. You got to have people code these systems. That's what the average American's not thinking of. So when all that starts flowing and rolling, and people's paychecks and your bank accounts are free from burden and free from bureaucrats and free from the deep state and free from when all that starts rolling.
Okay, Lori, I'll be on
tonight. And that validation starts coming in.
Now it's going to be next.
The goal with this was not some white old people and white guys beating our chests going, oh, yeah, we're going to show you and military. No, this operation was bipartisan. It is bipartisan. Congress knows there's multiple world leaders involved. There's actors playing roles who look bad, but they're good. That's why I keep telling people, quit trying to decide who's good and bad. You don't know that. You're not part of that. You can't even name the 3 branches of government. Stop judging. When the validation starts rolling in all forms and facets, when we get Americans where they need to be, then they'll unveil the people who did this and that and other. Chill the you know what out. So, all these law firms, President Trump's been executive orders about. Every law firm, ladies and gentlemen, that came after President Trump. Now, I know it was a special operation because they're cleaning out Article 1, legislative branch. They cleaned out Article 2, executive branch. Now you're watching the clean out of Article 3, the judicial branch. Now, I know it's already taken place. And a lot of you do too.
Get up there.
But for the people that don't, that's what you've been witnessing is a true reset and foundation. So all this stuff with the judges right now has already been done. But if you're still reacting to it, then you got to see it in real time. It's not real time if you would go read and study all the laws and orders and vote. It's not. But if you're still reacting that way, then you're not studied up on all the laws and orders over here that you could to know it's unconventional warfare. It's all part of unconventional warfare, irregular warfare, clandestine operations code, all this. Military government, military occupation, continuity of government, continuity of operation. You already have your validations of Executive Order 13961 and the revocation. That proves continuity of government alone. New York State Senate, no letters into Biden, but all of a sudden there's a letter here to President Trump in 2025, and the National Guard have been active in New York this whole time. Where are those letters? Where are those orders? There's still not a Title 10 order in place by President Trump for the National Guard of New York in 2025 because it's back here in 2020. You have validation. It's there. Now, the law firms, judicial branch, Article 3. It's why it's so important to know history. Our founders. So see, SCOTUS ruled that President Trump can use the 1798 Aliens Act, which is wartime orders. which validates again Title 10 and Title 50, Chapter 33, Section 1550. It's all there. That's your foundational orders right there. That's for people to go, where's the order? Here it is right here, right there. Title 50, Chapter 33, Section 1550. There it is. Then you got to know everything else that pairs with it, though. You can't just look at it alone. But that's it. That's your visual. That's your empowerment.
I know.
So the law firms, judicial branch, it was so important in Marbury versus Madison in the year of 8 last national security strategy.
So did everybody see that one? I might have, but sorry if I played it again. But I know some people didn't. I don't think. Okay, have your beverage with you. Relax for an hour. A big video coming up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. East Sizzling
Hey,
Sunday.
Paul.
The beautiful Velma Ann is
That was
ready.
a pretty good one,
She's
huh?
ready to rock and roll in the Q&A. Hang around, Velma. There's a couple of things I just wanted to chat about before we get into all of that. So just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mayhem Mel. There is only one channel. There is no chat room. So if you're in a chat room, it says Mayhem Mel. It's not mine. Yeah, we did have one. Somehow or other it got infiltrated. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, please be savvy as well. There's a lot of people we just saw again just a short moment ago regarding offering people quantum financial accounts. Please do not get involved in any of that. Okay, there is no preemptor. You do not have to go to a bank. You do not have to open up a QFS account. Please stay alert and savvy. But here we are again. Wowsy. Okay, just a reminder, our entire global trading system was tied to gold originally. Wars are here to reset, although the wars are not what we sort of want. They are here to reset. It was 55 years ago that Nixon took us off the gold standard. 5-5, ladies and gentlemen. That means military is in control, loud and clear. Let's go back on the gold standard, or the gold asset-backed, commodity asset-backed system. That was backed, of course, by silver certificates. We don't talk enough about silver, but that's okay. We all know, don't we, that how good silver really is. Gold is, of course, the ultimate neutral asset currency. It is God's currency. It brings us to a level playing field. Of course, oil, that's been the subject of all subjects, isn't it, with the war going on? It's been building up for some time. This is just the finalisation, of course. The oil was created and they created the petrodollar. So if you are wondering about this whole petrodollar, that's what all that chaos was about. It was built to create, of course, the old system. And of course, as we move forward, we do still need oil for certain products and items. Yes, we do. But this is all to reset that system. Although the petrodollar technically has already disappeared, this is part of the reset. Trump's UFO release also is in the woods again. He's going to include videos and photos of non-humans and crafts, potentially proving we are not alone. Is this where they actually allow them to appear, or are they going to also utilize Project Bluebeam, which technically is very AI, CGI comes into play? Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens there, but he's in the news again talking about UFOs. Of course, the mainstream media are having a complete bloody meltdown, aren't they? They're talking about arresting Tucker Carlson. Boy, they focus on someone and they just go after them, don't they? Of course, this is also people are saying to me, Mel, that they are seeing repeat news. This is that full circle again for those who are still coming to the party, so to speak. Let it play out. Don't get too attached to all of that. Yet 26 years ago, DJT comes out and he's talking about how Cuba will be free, and that he was saying to the Cubans back then, 26 years ago, that he's going to be their biggest developer in their country and he's going to watch this unfold. Is this going to be, or he was going to be the greatest president? So he's already the greatest president, but I also think that he's going to be rebuilding Cuba. Or is Cuba going to be rebuilt by themselves with the gold standard and the asset-backed coming? So what's very, very interesting about this is that often we relate things to Q posts, those who follow Q. But again, these are just representations. It's like a... I've just lost it. These are like prophecies. They're like metaphors to something else. So is Cuba going to be the last? How interesting, a great find for those Anons out there who find these things. I just put them all together. Meanwhile, of course, what is happening in Vietnam? They are moving mountains, ladies and gentlemen. Vietnam is still reforming. They are doing some amazing work in the background. Especially in the banking system, manufacturing, their gold markets, their trading platforms, their trades, the manufacturing, as I said. This will only increase and strengthen the currency once it is actually reinstated or revalued. So looking forward to what's going to happen with the Vietnamese dong. Understand there is also a lot of things that happen in many other countries, such as Indonesia and that as well. So please keep an eye out on all of that. What's also doing is buying foreign currencies is a deliberate strategy. So if you often hear of countries buying in foreign currencies, this is actually to diversify your country so as that you build up your foreign currency reserves. We're moving away from governments into governance, and what happens is the reason they purchase these foreign currencies is that they also know that they are going to be reinstated and revalued, so it actually adds to their reserves in each of those countries. Each country, of course, has taken different directions. They may have gone with certain crypto assets, so to speak, which are digital assets. As we move forward. So just reminding people, of course, that DJT also purchased very, very large amounts of the Iraqi dinar. This is to build the reserves to pay off their debts as well as replace the damage that was done during those wars as well. So understand why these wars are going on. It is for reasons. Not for us to get emotionally attached. It is to be observed, yes. For us to be prepared, yes. But don't get emotionally attached to it, okay? This is the reset. This is what we have been waiting for. As I said, it's going to benefit everyone in the end. Of course, this is why it is so global, hence the global currency reset. This is the reset for the globe. Is it globe or is it flat? Who knows? We will get to that at some point. So we're switching over from the old system into, of course, the crypto or digital assets. And this is because it's faster, it's cheaper, it is getting done to the low cost and transaction fees, the greater inclusion and access for all countries across the world. It enhances transparency and programmability. This is where we started to touch on programmable money. It is not a bad thing. It is not to take control of your money. It's called programmable money because it's on a blockchain, okay? It's also to support your global trade and the growth of each of those countries as well. So just let things unfold. But of course, Sunday's not about me talking. I talk enough during the week to many of you. So today is your day. So it looks like Jan Church, she's ready to rock and roll. So she can start this party. Jan, how are you? Takes a little while to reconnect, ladies and gentlemen. So Jan, you're first up. No, nobody wants to talk today. Out of 200 people and no one wants to talk. But anyway, so what else would you like to talk about? Let me think. I've been talking Velma Ann. There she is. She came up earlier. There you are, Velma. You can have a little chat. So either Jan or Velma, you're welcome to start the ball rolling. There we go. Jojo's up. She's always got something to say. She knows how this rolls. So Jojo, you've been allowed to speak as well. So who's going to pop up first? Da-da-da-da-dum.
Trying to think.
There
Hello.
she is. Jan Church, how are you, my darling? It takes a little while to click in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just first time on speaking live. I usually get your lives after it all happens. But anyway, thank you so much. I just really clicked on it to say that you were breaking up, and I didn't know whether it was me or you. After all, I was moving around a bit, so we missed a little bit at the beginning. So yeah, that's really mainly all I wanted to say. But I just thought as a side note, that as a side note, birthday girl, that we're birthday buddies. And,
yes, we are.
And did you know that Pisces is the last star sign in a combination of all of the star signs?
And that is correct.
And there's 13 moons, so there should be 13 months to the year, I believe.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it is. And well, what's very, very interesting about that is, of course, this year we've got 13 moons. Do we change to the 13-month calendar? Let's hope and excited. I'm excited to see, Jan, if they do that over sort of April, around Easter time. Easter is our marker. So, we'll continue to keep an eye on that. But do you know what the 13th star sign is called? We know the 13th month is Sol, but...
No, I don't know that, but I know November. So September is 7. It's not 9.
Oh, correct. Yeah, but
and,
I'll
October
post stuff later. Yep. October is 10. Yes.
October is 8, so it should be the 10th. But October is actually Oka is 8.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
it makes sense that we've been fully conned, and the 1st of April is the beginning of the new year.
Absolutely. So, so we'll let this one play out, honey. But yes, it is very, very exciting. But there is a 13 star sign, and I'll post that afterwards. I better make a note of that because I say so many things and I forget to repost them. But yes, I'll send that over and we'll have a look at that in our private messaging, honey. So the 13, no worries at all. So that will send to people in quite a thing. So, but happy birthday, my soul sister, Jan Church. What an amazing lady she is. Jojo. Okay, darling. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Bye, honey. Jojo, how are you?
Hey, good, Mel. Yourself? Happy birthday.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. Yes, I did. I think I celebrated it for a whole week. It was amazing.
That's the only one's birthdays can be celebrated, right? What's the point of the day?
Oh, yeah. So, but it was, so I had plenty of cakes and all that sort of stuff. It was amazing. So,
Excellent.
So good.
Glad you enjoyed it. Hey, Mel, one of your lives, one or two lives ago, you mentioned that
this is an hour and 12 minutes.
You were,
and there's Kay
a while ago you had said digital ID was okay or we needed to change our mindset. But then in the last live or two, you said you're still in two minds about that. So can you elaborate?
course I can. Only because when I'm in the States, there was like 3 different digital IDs. It's like, oh, please, you're messing with my head. So that's what I was saying. So it's as I always say, it's like the minute you think something is good, Jojo, and understand I'm human. So I'm happy to be wrong or change my mind because that means I'm human. So that's that's the first point. And I think that's been the issue. And my point is that so many people in this journey are not humble enough to say, oh, I might have got that wrong, but this one looks better or whatever. Yep. But my idea in a...
So there they go again about that calendar. How many years have they been saying that April on Easter, they can't know what year they're going to do that. I don't know why they keep saying that.
ID in Australia, that's perfectly fine. Okay. I actually had to reset mine up because I had my other phone stolen, but that's another story. But in many other countries, they have like 2 or 3 different types of ID, real ID, this, that, and all the rest of it. And we know even in the New Zealand, people who actually incorporated that ID on their phone very early on, thinking they were doing the right thing, created problems for them because although it possibly was the real ID that is in the quantum system hadn't checked in. And this is the issues that we're having, Jojo, is that the system seems to be still running on these 2 parallels, hence why I say I just don't know at this point in time.
Hey, you guys, Benny just came out 5 minutes ago, and I think we better stop this to play this. It just came out saying Tucker Carlson arrested. It's 12 minutes, so we better check this out. We'll come back to this one. So this is a big video. We'll see what this is about. Oh, wait. Okay, that was at the 15-minute mark. So I got to remember I got it saved. So we'll come back to that in a minute.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Tucker Carlson shocked the world in 2021 when he announced that the intel agencies were spying on him and reading his text messages, and ended up successfully shutting down an interview he was trying to book with Vladimir Putin at the height of the Ukraine war. Only when Tucker Carlson left Fox News was he able to end up conducting that interview. Nonetheless, nobody ever denied that they weren't spying on Tucker. And now Tucker says that they are spying on him once again, and he may be arrested for a crime. Tucker Carlson dropped this video last night. 10 million views, 20,000 reposts, went completely viral.
So,
Tucker says that the intel agencies, the CIA specifically, are about to potentially arrest him, charge him with a crime. What is that crime? It's a FARA violation. Really quickly here, what is FARA? A FARA violation refers to Foreign Agent Registration Act. This is federal law. It's been around for 100 years nearly. The law requires certain individuals and entities acting as agents of a foreign principal to register with the U.S. State Department their activities and relationships, finances, and so on. The purpose of FARA is to promote transparency and foreign influence in American politics. Why would this apply to Tucker? Well, Tucker says that he has been speaking with Iranians and that he has a right to do that, and that he may be charged for doing that because he spoke with Iranians and then spoke with President Trump. Now, I don't know how that relationship worked, meaning Tucker is being accused of, and we're going to talk about this in just a moment, taking information that
just
President Trump
came out,
gave him
guys.
and then potentially giving it to the Iranians. That's what people are accusing Tucker of. The other side is accusing Tucker of doing the opposite, right? It effectively acting as an Iranian agent with Trump, vice versa. Which side is playing which? Who's playing who? Or is Trump playing Tucker?
YouTube.
I mean, who knows at this point? Let's go ahead and listen to what Tucker has to say about potentially being placed under arrest for a FARA violation from the CIA, saying the CIA is spying.
The other day, I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power. And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids. So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it, and that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living, and I'm not going to stop doing that.
Yep, he's right what he said. He has every right to talk to that's his job.
Nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it'll even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime.
Yeah,
it's just the
he's,
nature of war. People
51,
are dying.
I think.
The stakes
I'm
are
not
high.
sure.
People's emotions have risen to a very high point, to a crescendo. And so there's much less tolerance for any kind of dissent in the homeland. The irony, of course, is the United States fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's always less of it here in our country during war. So that's a widely recognized phenomenon, and it's likely to happen now too.
So Tucker Carlson is saying that in his private conversations, he was speaking with Iranians, people in the Muslim diaspora. This is quite obvious. Tucker Carlson travels to the Middle East all the time. He was just in Israel, actually. And
I'm trying to pay off your loan.
Stop calling me. You sound like a psycho. I swear to God.
I'm calling you to let you know that
that those text messages may well embroil him in a FARA violation, because then he was also speaking with President Trump. And that's a matter of fact. He was at the White House actually in the hours before the Iranian war, trying to convince Donald Trump not to go to war with Iran. He's been pretty public about this, but also this is something that I have personal knowledge of. This is extremely disturbing, says Anna Kasparian. Like everybody has a take on this. Obviously, you won't be surprised that the takes fall directly in line with what your opinion is on this war, right? So admitting that you were texting with Iran and you were lobbying the president of the White House against fighting with Iran is expected, and then expecting to be seen as the victim might be the new definition of insanity. Here's Tucker Carlson's brother saying, our government is captured, corrupted, and bankrupt morally and financially and totally out of control. So the Carlson family clearly seeing, clearly ruffled feathers, right, in this, and for obvious reasons. If the CIA knew that he was talking to the Iranians, then Trump would have known also when he invited Tucker to the Oval Office a few days before the strike, which means Trump may have used Tucker to deceive the Iranians about the likelihood of an impending attack. This is absolutely fascinating and a remarkable thread. Like, was President Trump trying to counter-signal to the Iranians that he wasn't going to attack? It's something that's fascinating. It's the most viral takes in my timeline. Obviously, there's plenty of people dunking on Tucker. There's plenty of people like horrified by this. But like this is remarkable. I think that I know you think you are smart, but everybody knew you were a foreign asset and that you were being used as counterintelligence asset. You got used as a counter intel asset to convince them nothing was happening. It's very interesting. This has gone viral. So like you got used to kill the Iranian leadership. You personally were one of the key reasons they believed nothing was happening, which gave them the confidence to convene a meeting with their higher command. You did your job well being a traitor. That's fascinating. Like thought process here. Again, I have no idea what's true, right? I don't. Who can know? Because it's probably classified.
Okay, I guess I'll stop that one.
Because until it's flipped and everything is okay, we still really don't know, do we? And the issue that we have is that any kind of transition, they're trying to keep it as smooth as possible, but there's always issues. It's like me trying to sign up again for my social.
So how many wants me to continue playing that? You want me to? Yeah, I didn't know. Hey, sorry guys, I'll go back to it. Oh, where is it? Ah, shoot. About the 5-minute mark.
White House against fighting with Iran, expected to be seen as the victim might be the new definition of insanity. Here's Tucker Carlson's brother saying, our government is captured, corrupted, and bankrupt morally and financially and totally out of control. So the Carlson family clearly seeing, clearly ruffled feathers, right, in this, and for obvious reasons. If the CIA knew that he was talking to the Iranians, then Trump would have known also when he invited Tucker to the Oval Office a few days before the strike, which means Trump may have used Tucker to deceive the Iranians about the likelihood of an impending attack. This is absolutely fascinating and a remarkable thread. Like, was President Trump trying to counter-signal to the Iranians that he wasn't going to attack? It's something that's fascinating. It's the most viral takes in my timeline. Obviously, there's plenty of people dunking on Tucker. There's plenty of people like horrified by this. But like this is remarkable. I think that I know you think you are smart, but everybody knew you were a foreign asset and that you were being used as counterintelligence asset. You got used as a counter intel asset to convince them nothing was happening. It's very interesting. This has gone viral. So like you got used to kill the Iranian leadership. You personally were one of the key reasons they believed nothing was happening, which gave them the confidence to convene a meeting with their higher command. You did your job well being a traitor. That's fascinating. Like thought process here. Again, I have no idea what's true, right? I don't. Who can know? Because it's probably classified. How did we know where all the Iranian leadership is? Of course it's classified, right? But like, and I wasn't talking with anyone in Iran, but whatever. Like the point is that like, is that what was actually going on here? Imagine thinking that you get a primetime slot with the president on the eve of the war after repeatedly humiliating him and calling him retard multiple times in public. You're arrogant. Your usefulness has ended. Time to go. Good luck. You're going to need it. Thanks for helping us kill all your friends. Okay. The entire internet is losing their minds over this. Obviously, like there are FISA allows warrantless spying on Americans. This is former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, so they're reading his text messages. I reiterate, I will never trust the government again. Everyone's saying, whoa, Tucker is being unwittingly used by the Trump administration to blow up the Ayatollah might be the funniest thing I've ever heard in a long time. If I was a foreign agent doing something that I shouldn't be doing, I too would come up with an elaborate story about how the CIA was out to get me. So Laura Loomer is allegedly the individual who reported Tucker to the CIA. That's like the rumors on here. I guess, again, you don't know what to believe. Tucker sounds like somebody who is about to be exposed for doing something that they shouldn't have been doing. For months, I've been calling Tucker Carlson to be investigated for FARA violations. If he's going to be charged, it's fantastic news. I hope Tucker is jailed. Usual playbook from Russiagate: regime spies on you, and then the investigation takes place in order to destroy you. I've worked in media for a long time, not as long as some, but going on 16 years now. This is the weirdest time in politics and culture I've ever experienced, says Tim. I agree with that. They're going to silence a number one anti-war voice in the country, aren't they? Been there, done that, says Roger Stone. Okay. Trump may have just pulled out one of the most badass counter-intel ops personally executed by a president. What does it mean, ladies and gentlemen? Is that what actually happened here? I mean, Tucker did go, on the eve of the war, have this meeting with Trump. Did that counter signal to the Iranians that it was totally safe for them to go and meet, and then they all get blown up?
Including in famously 2021, when I was still at Fox News and trying to set up an interview with Vladimir Putin and
Tucker Carlson,
the NSA. I heard from
Tucker Carlson saying that he's been spied on before. That this is absolutely a matter of historic record. That the NSA did take Tucker Carlson's text. They never denied this when he was trying to get an interview with Vladimir Putin. At that time, it was the Ukraine war that was so hot, right? And they shut down that interview. They were able to successfully stop Tucker Carlson from interviewing Putin. He had his Fox News show at the time. Only when Tucker Carlson went private and did his own private podcast was he able to interview Vladimir Putin. Anyway, the point is that Tucker Carlson said, I've been here before.
With an American citizen and had leaked them to news outlets. Those texts were basically my attempts to set up an interview with the foreign head of state, and they leaked them to the New York Times in order to stop the interview, which they successfully did, by the way. And they admitted that they were spying. I mean, this is not a fantasy. It actually happened. They did it again 2 years later. My second attempt to get a Putin interview, I managed to get it anyway, and they've done it since. And so when you get a call from a reporter who knows the contents of your texts, it's pretty clear something's going on. None of this, in my judgment, as of right now, is a huge threat to me. So I'm not making this video to complain about it or whine or ask you to send me money because I'm under attack. I'm saying it because it's true, and you should know what your own government is doing, and you should know what the stakes are. And you should know that a lot of what happens in this country that affects outcomes happens behind the scenes. Some of it is legal, some of it is not, including what I'm describing now. But it has an effect. And the intel agencies, again, not everyone in the intel agencies, because there are decent, hardworking Americans who work in the intel agencies are Americans, just like there are decent, hardworking Americans who work at the DMV. But there are also people with agendas and grudges and no sense of restraint who are happy to misuse the power they have, granted them by our elaborate secrecy laws, to hurt fellow Americans for ideological reasons. That is entirely real.
Oh, man. These things are heating up. A wild moment that we are living through. We'll see, obviously, where this goes. Tucker Carlson is one of those individuals who has had such a strong and personal connection and relationship with Donald Trump. It'll be fascinating to see how this plays out. I'm frankly just blown away by all of it. We'll see what happens next. Stay tuned. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
Okay, sorry for the mix-up, you guys. I didn't know how that was going to turn out. But we got it all done. Okay, we'll go back and do Mel, and then we got the YouTube lady coming up next after Mel. Did I lose it? Okay, I gotta reset. Shoot. Hang on, you guys. Ah, I had it. Darn it.
Chat to her because I know things. Yep. Jojo, you've been allowed to speak as well.
Well, I'm at
So
the
who's going to pop up
12-minute
first?
mark. We were at the 15-minute mark. I just went back a couple minutes.
Ah, there
Hello.
she is. Jan Church, how are you, my darling? It takes a little
Hi,
while to
but-
click in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just first
Yeah,
time
we're at
on
the 10-minute
speaking
mark.
live. I usually get your
Or
lives
12 minutes.
after it all happens. But anyway, thank you so much. I just
Yeah, we got a full hour. It's an hour 12, and we got 12 in. Or is it 10? Either 10 or 12. Still got long ways on this.
really clicked on it to say that you were breaking up, and I didn't know whether it was me or you. After all, I was moving around a bit, so we missed a little bit at the beginning.
No Billy yet. Okay.
So yeah, that's really mainly all I wanted to say. But I just thought as a side note, that as a side note, birthday girl, that we're birthday buddies. And,
Yes, we are.
And did you know that Pisces is the last star sign in a combination of all of the star signs?
That is
And
correct.
And there's 13 moons, so there should be 13 months to the year, I believe.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it is. And well, what's very, very interesting about that is, of course, this year we've got 13 moons. Do we change to the 13-month calendar? Let's hope and excited. I'm excited to see, Jan, if they do that over sort of April, around Easter time. Easter is our marker. So, you know, we'll continue to keep an eye on that. But do you know what the 13th star sign is called? We know the 13th month is Sol, but...
No, I don't know that, but I know November. So September is 7. It's not 9.
Oh, correct. Yeah, but
and,
I'll
October
post up later. Yep. October is 10. Yes.
October is 8, so it should be the 10th. But October is actually Oca is 8.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So it makes sense that we've been fully conned, and the 1st of April is the beginning of the new year.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So we'll let this one play out, honey. But yes, it is very, very exciting. But there is a 13 star sign, and I'll post that afterwards. I better make a note of that because I say so many things and I forget to repost them. But yes, I'll send that over and we'll have a look at that in our private messaging, honey. So the 13, no worries at all. So that will send to people in quite a team. So, but yeah, happy birthday, my soul sister, Jan Church. What an amazing lady she is. Jojo. Okay, darling. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Bye, honey. Jojo, how are you?
Hey, good, Mel. Yourself? Happy birthday.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. Yes, I did. I think I celebrated it for a whole week. It was amazing.
That's the only way birthdays can be celebrated, right? What's the point of a day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, but it was, yeah. So I had plenty of cakes and all that sort of stuff. It was amazing. So, yeah, so good.
Glad you enjoyed it. Hey, Mel, one of your lives, one or two lives ago, you mentioned that you were a while ago you had said digital ID was okay or we needed to change our mindset. But then in the last live or two, you said you're still in two minds about that. So can you elaborate?
Of course I can. Only because when I'm in the States, there was like 3 different digital IDs. It's like, oh, please, you're messing with my head. So that's what I was saying. So it's as I always say, it's like the minute you think something is good, Jojo, and understand I'm human. So I'm happy to be wrong or change my mind because that means I'm human. So that's the first point. And I think that's been the issue. And my point is that so many people in this journey are not humble enough to say, oh, I might have got that wrong, but this one looks better or whatever. Yeah. But the ID, my ID in Australia, that's perfectly fine. Okay. I actually had to reset mine up because I had my other phone stolen, but that's another story. But in many other countries, they have like 2 or 3 different types of ID, real ID, this, that, and all the rest of it. And we know even in the New Zealand, people who actually incorporated that ID on their phone very early on, thinking they were doing the right thing, created problems for them because although it possibly was the real ID that is in the quantum system hadn't checked in. And this is the issues that we're having, Jojo, is that the system seems to be still running on these 2 parallels, hence why I say I just don't know at this point in time, because until it's flipped and everything is okay, we still really don't know, do we? And the issue that we have is that any kind of transition, they're trying to keep it as smooth as possible, but there's always issues. It's like me trying to sign up again for my Social Security coming back into Australia. Oh my gosh, the 21 questions plus to identify myself. I was only gone for 90 days, like, you know. So again, that's what I mean by I still sit on the fence with it. It's just frustrating because you think you got it right, but I then turn around, Jojo, and I go, hold on a second. I was talking to some boys in that yesterday, and we're talking about how we have 2 brains. We have a brain up here and a brain in our gut. And you should always go with your gut as well. So my gut was telling me originally, the original ID that had come in is actually the good one, but they mess with you, don't they? This is all about the Great Awakening, Jojo, and they always tend to try and test you, including myself, get tested every now and again. So please know that I'm human, and sometimes I just get frustrated because sometimes I see a little change and I go, is that the right one or not? So it's frustrating. My job's the most exciting job in the world, really is. Oh, I believe it is for me anyway, but it can be so frustrating sometimes. So just know that I am a little human. So I don't mind clarifying at all. So thank you for that, honey. So
full credit to you, Mel, for being willing to, say that this might not, I've changed my perspective on this opinion or on this information. So like you said, that's only human, and it's one of the reasons that we love you. Yeah.
Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. Velma Anna, how are you, darling? You were first up this morning, this afternoon, I should say. Geez, it's afternoon for me already. So come on down, honey, before we talk to the boys, because the boys will take up 10 minutes or so. But Velma Ann, unmute yourself, hon. Oh, Colorado Mama's in the house as well, and YGS. No, Velma Elmer's not going to say hello. I know Colorado Mama is in the house. We'll chat to her because I know she's going to be extremely busy. So we might actually bring Colorado Mama up. She can have her little bit, and then we'll get to the boys in Canada with their updates and that as well. So if you're there, honey.
Good evening.
Hello. It is evening for you, isn't it? It's just...
yeah. Especially depends on what time you started, actually.
Yeah.
It's late night for me, but it's all good. I just wanted to let you know that we are approaching Easter, which is going to be kind of a back wall for some things monetarily. There are some trusts that are downstream some money. So this next week of life, as we've all been watching and waiting, the twists and turns, I think that we're going to see quite a few events take place. As far as everybody in the world at this point is looking for what they call the RV at this point. Don't get too anxious right this moment. There's a lot that has to take place before that can even occur. So what I'm talking about kicking off here at Easter is the USN possibly coming out within this week. We're talking about other things that might happen this week. I'm sure you've not heard anything like that, but anyways, yes, it is time for the pieces to be put in place for everything else to happen in the world. Another interesting point that I found today is that they have been putting basically the Federal Reserve building in DC, they've turned it into a fortress. Gosh, I wonder what it's going to be repurposed for. They do buy machines that actually
this is hour 12
type currency. They've been buying some of that. It's been purchased for some time. That information was kind of insightful to me. Just found it out today. And so if you look at some of the currencies of the countries.
We are 20 minutes into an hour and 12 minutes. And KG, sorry about that. I hope you stay safe out there. What state were you from again?
Countries, some of them have those little cellophane and holographic kind of things on them. And so we might have a different look, especially for the 10s, the 20s, the 50s, and the 100s in the United States. The ones and the 5s are going to, I think, serve for a while. But I think that is something that might be the most counterfeited is the larger bills. I'm sure that you agree with that.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a cold.
And they depend on which country they were trying to use them in. Because the $10 bill in Africa goes a heck of a long way.
Certainly does.
So those are some of the points that I have right now, Mel. And you look lovely tonight. And keep smiling. Keep smiling because you are making a difference for people to get real information. You're doing such a smashing job on what's going on in Vietnam. They're kind of getting ready, I would say. And then the other little tidbit is keep your eye on the fact of why we're in Iran and how Captain Obama, as I call him, he was a resident Obama, built a bunker over there in Iran. Did you know? Yeah, he had some stuff that was golden color and shiny, a lot of it that was stolen from Libya. And
I was about to say it was stolen. It wasn't his.
Yeah, stolen. Yeah. Stolen from Libya. And also some servers with like huge amounts of information. And so that's one of the reasons some areas are not actually getting bunker busters because we want what's in the bunkers.
Oh, absolutely. And don't forget Libya, Gaddafi, and a few other things that come with all of that as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, not as advertised, right?
No. Interesting about the UST and notes or foils that you're talking about being printed in the new Federal Reserve. Please understand, I did do some insights into that, and I believe that that started on the 26th of February. the retake down of that particular building. And yes, I can concur. They are printing those new foil notes for the US Treasury notes, including the US Treasury bonds that they're going to be releasing to the citizens and that as well. So, yeah, very interesting times that we live in. So a lot did actually happen. Yes.
Yeah. In addition to that, Mel, have you noticed the countries, and you've got a couple of them listed, but they're getting the unbanked, 15 years old and above, all banked. I mean, why in the world would that be urgent as of right this moment? I mean, 65% of the entire world is unbanked. For those of us who live in America, we can't even fathom that.
No.
We can't even fathom that in America.
No. It's, again, a lot of people come into the channel not fully understanding sometimes the posts that we post, but that is an indicator. These are the fundamentals. My new F word is, of course, fiduciary, but my new fundamental is, of course, fiduciary funds. This is unbanking from the banks. This is all part of that as well. So we have a lot to catch up on, ladies and gentlemen, a lot to catch up on. So, but yeah, it's always a pleasure and an honor to have Colorado Mama in the house because, yeah, she certainly keeps me grounded, let me tell you. So, yeah, it's great confirmation too, and we really, really appreciate these confirmations that come in. So, yeah, you make sure you stay safe and savvy too, girlfriend. So,
always. And I suggest all of you guys should get real excited because we're going to such a wonderful place. And as the USN gets released, the global currency reset can get underway. And a lot of the programs and things that are supposed to be coming forward, we'll see how that rolls out. I've got conflicting information on how well prepared different countries are. I'm just hoping that we live in a country that is prepared. And it's going to be so great to have you as a neighbor in Australia.
I'll be here. In some form, we'll be here. We'll be everywhere, actually. So I'm very, very excited.
Of the United States, yeah.
Absolutely. So, and we're all one, aren't we? We're all one nation under God. So, yeah, there's a lot more to that as well. So, but thank you again to the beautiful Colorado Mama. Alma Ann, you've unmuted yourself. How are you?
Hi, Mel. Can you hear me?
I can.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yes.
Great. Happy birthday first. And
thank you.
a couple of sessions ago, you were talking about the Zim, but you wanted people to ask specific questions on the Zim. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know that you had talked about maybe the Zim not being worth anything. I
didn't say that.
Oh, didn't you?
No,
Okay,
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can just
reiterate on that.
Yeah, please.
Because what happens is, Valma Ann, is that people twist. So do you understand, honey? You may be fairly new to this channel. Please understand. People re-record me and change my words. This is why it is distorted. Just putting that out there. Okay? So
yeah.
Please be aware of that. Even in a voice message I did today. Yeah. But understand, even the voice message today, they cut it out. It was like I was sitting out in the wind. I was in my office. So, yeah. Anyway, what happens is, it's not that the Zim is not worth anything. It means, what I'm saying is that the Zim will be taken from a different fund of money. It's not classed as a currency. In fact, as I said earlier with Jojo, things alter and change all the time. I'm here to give you the information as it is revealed. It has now come to my attention that bonds, including the Zim bond, historical bonds, Golden Dragon bonds, any kind of bonds could possibly be used or incorporated into the new Treasury note bonds, what we were just talking about with Colorado Mama. Okay?
Yeah.
Because what happened was years ago, God bless all the gurus that have been around for years, but they don't change with the times. That's all. Okay? They've always said that the bonds, the ZIM bonds, would be trunched. And I've often said to myself, there has to be a mechanism that's already in place. Hence why I'm saying they are connected to the US Treasury bonds or the Treasury bonds within your country. Because we already know that all the central banks have been incorporated into their treasuries. That was part of this new quantum system network using the blockchain has come into play. So it's not going to be paid out how they said it was going to be paid out. It's not saying that they aren't going to be paid out. What I'm saying is that at this point in time, no further instructions were given regarding the ZIM, but I did say hold on to them. That may have been the little confusion about what I was saying. It's just coming back to me. So at this point in time, there's no instructions. However, it makes logical sense considering the new platforms that are coming out that are connected to Franklin Templeton, that are connected to the Treasury, that including the Kraken. All of these things are being looked at by me, and it makes logical sense to me that those bonds, for them to be trunched, as we have been told for many years, are going to be utilised through the new platform, not the old platform, the new quantum platform.
40 minutes,
and replace
guys.
a bond
40
with an
minutes.
equivalent bond. And
We're
there you have
halfway
it,
almost.
ladies and gentlemen. You're getting your trunching from your ZIM bonds.
And there's Chico.
Okay.
You heard somebody.
Makes logical sense, doesn't it?
Yes, that does make logical sense. And I'm here from Canada, so I'm interested to hear what the boys have to say.
Oh, they're very cool, aren't they? They're quite
very,
good looking
very cool.
to look at too. So they're very cool. They do an incredible amount of work to have them to be one of their mentors and that as well. I am so blessed. I truly am. They've taken everything that I've been educating with over many years, and they put their own spin on it. You've got to be yourself. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen. Please be yourself. I can't be super duper official because I'm just a crazy Australian, they call me. But believe you me, you just got to be yourself. And these boys are incredibly super smart. They've done their own research. They've done their own work. But what they do for Canada and for the rest of the community is absolutely amazing. And they're going to be a stronghold. Yeah. So, but
well, thank you for
yeah.
all you do as well, Mel. Thank you.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's awesome. As I said, I love it. I absolutely love it. I thrive on finding new stuff. So, yeah. So it's exciting. So yeah. So, but thank you for asking. The beautiful Velma Ann. So stay in touch with me if you haven't already PM'd me, honey. Like I said, we might put together a little Canadian group. So just so that we can talk Canadian, if there is any such language other than French Canadian. I can't speak French. So yeah, you're gonna have to whiz that one. So but yeah. All right, darling. It is an absolute pleasure and honor to say hello to you. And thanks for that. Appreciate you. So in that saying, we'll quickly go to YGS. You'd like to say hello, and then we'll get to the boys in Canada, and then of course we'll get to Peter, Poppy, and Tony.
Hi, Mel. We love your show, and I have my question. My husband has a question for you.
Okay, cool.
Hi, Mel.
I love a good husband, by the way. How are you, sir? How are you?
Oh, sir is definitely no. I mean, but thank you very much. We do love your show. We listen to you all the time. She's the one who listens. I sit quietly off to the side, but you got good intel. It's great intel. We're in New Jersey in the United States. My question is, are cash values in permanent held life insurance contracts. Again, contracts that are sold by insurance companies, and annuities that accumulate money in them, and annuities that provide income.
Yes.
Are they mirrored funds, or are they complete fiat to be lost with the transition? I'm thinking they would be lost because they're only backed up by the faith and credit of that company, and those companies dabble in the stock market, as we both know. So
yeah, they do.
Right. So do you lose it? Should I jettison? I know how to avoid the tax consequence. I have my license.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's cool. And
at one time, I worked for TD Bank. I worked for JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo. I know how terrible they are. But I don't know. I'm thinking I got to get those cash values out or annuity values out. It's really more the cash values, and strategically avoid the tax consequence in this fiat reality that we live in for the moment.
Yeah.
Right? That's my question. Long drawn out.
That's your question. And then this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I love. I love these really good, tough questions outside of everything else. Oh, you're a champion. So what happens there is that are they mirrored or are they not? This is the ultimate question. I said in April of last year,
right,
about this time 12 months ago, I remember it.
Okay.
And I said that insurances and the annuity programs are going to change.
Right.
I'm going to have another look into it because it's one that I have not done an update on. I'm going to be honest with you, but I believe they are mirrored. Okay. Again, depending on the structure of that policy, and if you were to watch the series Landman, they talk about how they utilize those funds to offset the taxes and to, of course, hedge. Yes, it is a stock market, but you also have to remember that the stock market is now changed as well. That's why I'm saying I'm pretty sure they're mirrored.
They might be. I'll provide you with a little bit of intel because I've held my licenses for 34 years.
Okay.
New York,
go on.
New York Life, huge.
Yes.
Right? Northwestern Mutual,
which, yep,
is also huge. Right. They actually insured the Edmund Fitzgerald. But that said, both of them started heavily investing in gold and silver precious metals more than 10 years ago. They don't make it public. In fact, when you ask them, and I have, through the contacts that I had, they danced around it. So my feeling was, those are going to be the companies that maybe survive the tidal wave that's coming in, right?
Coming in, that's correct.
Yes. Because long ago, those companies back in the Depression were the only ones guaranteeing loans and other things. So that's what I'm right.
Guaranteeing those loans are so important.
Right.
Okay. Yep. Are guaranteeing those things. How can they guarantee it? The time frame that you're talking about is very, very interesting because you said they started getting gold in the background.
Yeah. That I could remember maybe around 20 that I saw 20 Northwestern big time. We're talking 150 million tranches at a time back in 2015, maybe before that. And I even said
2015.
Right.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom shakalaka, baby. Because it was 2012. 2012 is when they started incorporating the quantum system.
Oh, wow. So there it is.
Boom shakalaka, baby. Boom shakalaka.
I've got a buddy of mine who was with me at an insurance company that we both worked for back 10, 12 years ago. DFP, very smart, West Point guy. And he even said back then, I remember the conversation, this is a good reason that they're doing it, but it also foretells something else, Don. He said, something's coming. And yeah, we were right, but we didn't know it at the time.
No, you don't know it at the time. Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm like, no, staying away from immediate annuities, because there are really no guarantees. In my mind, that's my feel. But I mean, I have to ask the question. That's basic.
It is, and I'm excited that we're talking about something different because a lot of people don't often hear about these kinds of things or they don't understand them. As I said, it was interesting 12 months ago, I said that insurance and real estate were pretty much going to be the last of that joining because they're so complex, as you know yourself. They are very, very complex. And again, what happens is that, as I said, I'm seeing it. Remember, I always explained that those two large insurance companies, including Lloyd's Banking, which is Lloyd's Insurance, it's overwritten by Lloyd's Insurance. Do you see my point?
I've dealt with them. Go ahead.
That's correct. So all these banks and banking structures all virtually come under these insurance.
Yeah. And
people don't realize that.
10 plus years ago, Massachusetts Mutual Life, huge, this is 10 plus years ago, 617 million was the figure that they invested in Bitcoin.
Gold. Bitcoin. Oh, so there you go.
Bitcoin.
So what recently happened in Massachusetts, darling?
Yeah, that I'm aware of it, not completely, but there's. Go ahead, because I don't know everything, so I mean that's why. So go.
That's okay. So when you look at these things, again, it's always follow the money.
Right.
Yeah. And Bitcoin back then was still corrupt. It wasn't until 2012 to 2016 they started taking control of Bitcoin. During the pandemic, Bitcoin actually went down an LLC. And that LLC, you're going to love this one, Don, was called the Orange Man.
Yes.
Okay. So Bitcoin went down there. It went to zero because people keep saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to zero. I said it already has. It already has. So it went down this LLC called the Orange Man. It went to zero. It then came back up on the Stellar network on Bonfire Stellar, I think it was, network at the time. It was just a network that was created specifically for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tether. Well, Tether then changed and altered to USDT. So that was changed pretty much instantly. So the thinking of JP Morgan was pretty much when that happened. And then you've got, as I said, everything is underwritten by insurances, because if you were to go back into history and have a listen about why JP Morgan sunk the so-called ship, what happened when Twin Towers went down, it was all about the insurances, wasn't it? It was all about the insurance. Yes, it was, sir.
Absolutely.
This little girl from Australia has a lot more in store for you. But it's all underwritten by insurances. All your banks have undercover by insurances.
Yep.
So when people are going to courts with the properties and the loss of their properties, this is to do with the insurance companies trying to get back the assets, so to speak. Because as you said, a lot of insurance companies are not going to survive. Insurance companies actually do have their own, let's say, equivalent to Basel IV that the banks actually have as well.
Okay.
There's an interesting fun fact for you. As you said, with those two companies that you mentioned, that because I can't mention their names, but the two companies that you mentioned, especially the second one, is going to be very, very big. Now, ask yourself what happens when you start becoming a high net worth investor. And like I said, I'm swinging back over to Landman right now, is that this helps you to understand the structure of LLCs and how people move money to avoid taxes, as you said. I didn't say it, you said it. How you can manipulate your own market. But what if your market insurance company was then to be, say, a Ripple token called XRP, and you then became your own insuring bank with XRP? Do you see where I'm going with that?
Yes.
That is a security, isn't it? It's backed by gold.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is hedging from your insurance that you have is your gold, your XRP. Interesting dynamics, isn't it?
It is.
That we start talking about insurances and we end up with JP Morgan, Titanic, 9/11. It was all about the insurance and the insurance policies because they knew what was coming. So they stole the gold from Tower 7, whatever it was, Tower 9, whatever it was, and all the rest of it, and claimed the insurance. The insurance policies were put on that. I am been waiting for someone such as yourself to talk about this because this changes people's mindset about a lot of things because we all focus on certain things. We're all focused on how we're going to get our Zim paid or this, that, and all the rest of it. Oh, it's much bigger than that.
Long time ago, I was at Wells F.
Yeah.
I had a customer who was on major depression medication. And he told me why. Now, this is now back in 2004. He was in the towers after they went down. He was one of the guys to go in and dig like a tunnel rat. They found a tunnel, one of the tunnels leading into the underground, one of the train tunnels, and it was sealed off perfectly. Behind it, when they got to it, were 2 train loads full of people just sitting there calmly, frozen with white confection over them, dead. And he never forgot that. And I never forgot that story. They came in at the wrong time. That's just one out of the area. My wife is telling me to shut up. But that said, because I talk too much, she will tell you, we've seen a lot here in New Jersey. The little things, as I say to her and she says to me, make a big difference here in Jersey that we have seen. But I wanted to ask you that question because, you know, it's something to learn about. And I said to her, let's ask Mel. You know, let's see what she has to say.
Beautiful.
So we appreciate the time. We really do.
I'm happy to give you the time, and please make sure that you private message me so we can talk some more about that. Because as I said, it all starts to make a lot more sense when you start to get a different perspective, or we put the pieces of the puzzle together. And we don't talk enough, as I've said, about a lot of things. And one of those things, of course, as I said, is about insurance, and real estate is next as well. So, yeah. So thank you. I hope that gives you an insight. But we will look into those insurance a bit more. I've done plenty of top-up stories on, and good to hear also that you are taking notice of keeping up to date with all those tax changes and things like that as well. But do you see how everything sort of mixes in together, though? It's really, really exciting. So thank you for YGS for doing that. So you can PM me at Mel Micah, and we'll catch up for sure.
She'll know. My wife does
Yeah, I
have
know.
one thing. If you could, just for a second, go ahead.
I have two quick things. It's common. It's good. It's positive. I work in a big company, 20 plus years. In the past year, I never see that every few days, system update, computer update. It's unbelievable. And
yes,
I know why, but the people around me, they have no idea. And every time, it's a lot of time goes, cause glitches. And you have to, and some of the system have glitches. They couldn't fix it. They don't know how to fix it. So now I understand why. The other thing, very quickly, January 28th.
Is that what?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, January 28th, you noticed it. There you go.
No. That's a different subject. That's an entire year. This is an update. January 28th, and something else. We look to the bank to see, we always look to the bank. And something I never see it in that 20 plus years. The money in the bank double. For example, check number, blah, 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 500 something from this company. Second line, same thing. Then ACH, blah, 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 it doubled. It was unbelievable. It gave us, they fix it. But I never see this before with a major bank, by the way. Yes. So
yes. And what that is too, and I'm glad you bring that up, because that is the actual block in the blockchain that you would have been seeing. So that little block is why you've got all those numbers and letters and that up now. And that's the block of that transaction. So that's very exciting. The reason I was moving around is because glitches are not glitches, as you know, girlfriend. They are updates and upgrades and things like that as well. In fact, the girlfriend I'm staying with right now, she will tell you nearly every day there is something changing on her phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's what keeps
nearly
us
every
going.
single day.
That's what keeps us both going, because we notice these things because, frankly, of you. Okay, we learn, and so we see it, and that tells us, no, this is real. It's just it moves slowly, not on our time schedule, on another time schedule. But that's a good
bingo. It is a good thing. Yeah. So glad you stuck around. That's really cool. Sorry.
Well, thank you.
Eventually people do get it. So as I said, you said that you've noticed all those little things, and I always say, ladies and gentlemen, always have said, it's those little things that you think may not be important, but they are important. And that's what I do. I get really excited. We have some of the most profound conversations in this house, I can tell you. And they are just things. So, but well, listen, New Jersey, I tell you what, New Jersey, you're hitting it with me. I have to come and visit New Jersey. I've got many people now in New Jersey. So absolutely. So but we'll definitely add that to the list for certain. So wow, this has been a bonza show, and it's just about to get even better, because we're going to bring up CA, because they're going to end the show from the beautiful, illustrious Canada. But thank you to YGS, Jojo, Velma, Anna, and Colorado Mama so far. That's been absolutely amazing. Hello, Canada. You're still awake.
Good afternoon, Mel, and thank you so much for taking our call. And you give us a lot of credit when the credit is actually for you. So thank you. It's about, truthfully, it's about true discernment also. I mean, it's important to do your homework, and it's really important to follow through. And as you could probably tell, my voice is a lot better because I'm no longer sick. Thank God for that.
Yeah, I know. You sound more like your brother now.
Thank God. Exactly. So just a quick update on what's going on. So do you remember I spoke to you about the banks? So I ended up getting, Scotia ended up calling me back, the gentleman who I was dealing with, and I had to stop him. And he I don't think he could understand that where we were going in terms of the quantum financial system. He was still, he asked me the exact same question, how much am I willing to invest? And I said about 50 to 60 million. And at first he said, you know, when he contacted his brokers in Toronto, they were a little bit not suspicious, but they've never seen numbers that big from someone. And I said, listen, FYI again, I'm telling you, I'm going to give you a rendition of where the financial system is going and where we were. So I literally had to sit down with him for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes, explain to him where the petrodollar was, where the petrodollar is ending, and why the system is going to be 1-to-1 and not what he's thinking. I said, okay, if you think about it, I said $60 million in Canadian is not that much, because if it's the only currency that you want to trade with me, which is a dong, I understand, but you cannot give me the peanut gallery numbers, which is 0.004, whatever the case may be. I said, when the reinstatement or the exchange of the currency is going to happen, every currency is going to have more money. So I explained to him also in regards to where Iraq was financially first before the war, where Kuwait was before the war, even where Lebanon was before the war, before 1975. So I had to give him a real understanding of where the cultures, where those countries were, and the reason why they ended up going belly up because of the petrodollar, and how things are going to be changing. So he said, I'll get you numbers again. I said, I am not in a rush to exchange or to redeem. However, I am waiting for the flip, and we will all know when the flip happens, because everyone is going to go to zero and get back and be aware of that the new system is on. So I feel like I've had a lot of friends in the banking industry also here in Canada, and a few people that I've also approached in the past, and they see things moving, but they're not 100% aware of really what's going on. So, which basically brings to my...
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the people that I knew at TD, and I think we spoke about this last time, TD can no longer proceed forward because they've been stopped. They have been not leveraged, but they've been restricted by the U.S. government under USMCA to continue because of all their shady deals.
What?
So I went to the other three banks that were the biggest banks in Canada, and sure enough, they're still basically, even I think we spoke about that last time, they're still not aware of what's coming. So having said that, what I would highly recommend again for everyone is do not be in a rush to go and redeem, because your money is going to end up in fiat. You're not going to end up having value to the money that you're supposed to be getting. So this is number one. Two, I think we are at the precipice. We are somewhere between, at the tip of the spear, but not really there. There's still quite a few things that are happening, as you said, between the wars between Ukraine, Iran, even in Lebanon, the things that no one is really talking about, because right now Israel is no longer just targeting the southern part of Lebanon. They're bombing the whole country when the whole country has nothing to do with it. I mean, my relatives over there are telling us they're bombing areas where it's just Christian people, and they're getting decimated. There's a lady who I follow also on Instagram, and she's blown away at what is happening from the IDF. So so there's a lot of things that are happening with have to happen to be stopped, to come to full completion from the wars, in order for our system to start from the ground up. It has, things have to come to a full, a complete, not just halt, but a completion of what is going on, so that countries can become sovereign and move forward. So on that note, I don't think we're far. We could be a few months away. Just hang on, hold on tight, know that God's holding the plan, and don't panic. I mean, we've managed, some of us have been in it for 4 or 5 years. Some of us have been in it for 20 and 30 years, right? But our goal is not to panic. It's to put our faith in God. As a Christian, I keep saying this, we have to remember that we cannot get distracted by the chaos around us, but to be inside the storm is to be with God in Christ. If we can focus on that, everything else will pass. Everything shall pass. There's no down without up. There's no up without down. Right now, everything is kind of weary, but we just have to stay positive. anyways, that's my 2 cents about that. Number 2, you posted about Revolut. I did quite a bit of digging, and Revolut is no longer active in Canada because since 2021,
and
in
same
Canada.
in Malaysia too.
Yes.
Ooh,
So
what's
I
going
think what's
on?
happening is the countries I think that are not accepting Revolut are basically seeing what is going on. It could be one of 2 things. My part of me is thinking that it could be that the government is trying to do anything to stop the things that are coming. But again, you can't stop what's already started. Our Canadian government is so far behind that when they start to catch up, we've already walked 10, 15, 20 miles ahead of them, right? So we're that much further. And all the corruption in Canada is being exposed. Be it the land grab that doesn't really exist as a land grab, because I think I told you about I'll send you the what's it called, the information that I found. There wasn't a full treaty of British Columbia, for example, being given completely to the natives. Like, there's so many people thinking they're going to lose their homes, but there's only a few bands that the treaty actually happened. The treaty was created, was done with the Corporation of Canada, which is the business. So a business did a business with the treaty that became a business also, because a corporation cannot do business with a sovereign. So they created the treaties to create an agreement. But once the corporation gets dissolved, the treaties are annulled and void. Right? We have to remember that the reason we all ended up on in the Maritime Admiralty law is because, again, we were created as a fiction, and a sovereign person cannot do business with a corporation and vice versa. So all the treaties, all the government, contracts are null and void once the corporation is dead. So we have to remember that we shouldn't panic about that, and it is coming to an end very soon, right? Number 3 that I was thinking, and I'm sorry, I'm putting it in numbers right now. Number 3 had to do with your discussion right now. You're talking about the digital currency. Is it good or is it bad? One of the executive orders that we cannot forget about, which actually was done probably 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, was when Donald Trump signed the executive order stating that there will not be a central digital currency. Digital currency. So whenever people think of CBDCs, we should not be thinking that a system is going to be corrupt, because it is giving us back to the people the sovereignty that we've been looking for. And I don't believe that any country around the world is going to be able to be under a cabal style of CBDC, because if we're all going to be sovereign countries, pegged, and each one of us is going to have their own currency pegged to an actual standard, you cannot have a corrupt system that is basically going to be doing business with an uncorrupt system. It makes no sense, right?
No.
It totally makes no sense. So I do believe deep inside that the whole dynamic of the CBDC, yes, is gone in Canada, or in the United States, but it is going to be completely ended in the rest of the world. Another thing that just popped into my mind also, and I'm not going to take too much of your time either, is that during COVID, so many things were being blocked, like any information that had to do about the jab, about the government, everything was being silenced. If you look right now, I would say 99% of the information is finally coming to light with the least amount of blocking. You know what I mean? Hold on, are you there? Yeah. So nothing is being nothing is being blocked anymore. There is not as much of the suppression. Everything is truly coming to light from all angles. I mean, when you think of something and you type it on the internet to try and look for it, it's right there and then. Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, everything was being so suppressed that you couldn't even get any information. Now everything about every government official is coming out to light without any suppression. So having said those 4 things, really brings to light where we truly are in terms of this financial system, of our sovereignty, and to take back our to own up to our own sovereign state, which is what God gave us, right? So having finished that, one more thing I was going to say is in regards to the Titanic. Recently, I just read a report which was really interesting. There was a book that was written about 20 or 50 years prior to the Titanic that was the exact example of how the Titanic was going to sink the same month, what it was going to hit, and everything else. So the whole thing's been planned for months.
Back at 6,
right? Same thing with same thing for the Twin Towers. The things that we are being shown right now with what happened in New York in 2001 is coming to light without any suppression. The latest thing that I saw, which was they finally admitted, showing that there is a a Scud missile that hit the Pentagon. It was never a plane. So if that in itself is showing all the truth that's coming out, there is no more suppression. So we can take the negative out of our thoughts of what could be happening, and say, you know what, we are moving forward, and this is a blessing by itself, in itself. So
in itself, absolutely. And I said that to the boys that I was talking to yesterday as well, and I just said, make their country great again as well. And they were really, really pumped yesterday because, we often do just focus on those news items. But as I said, allow this to happen. Allow this so-called chaos that's going on around you to actually happen, because it is part of that reset. And so it sort of sets the precedence of what I started with today, talking about letting it all go. So,
and it is pretty hard, honestly. Like, again, it is hard to see people, innocent bystanders, that are being taken by any form of war. That is a given. The only thing we can do, there's two things we can do. We can be taken by the chaos that's around there, or we can pray for these people. And remember, death is not the end. Death is only the beginning to a new life. Like, our lives on this earth is limited to a certain point, but our second life with our Creator is what we are all trying to achieve. So yes, we do need to live our lives on this earth, but we should not be consumed by the white noise that's around us. If we allow ourselves to just stay still and truly appreciate the things that we see, the places that we have, even if whether you're in a city or whatever, if you take a deep breath and appreciate the things that you have in your life, you're already one step ahead of most people. People that are whether they're being bombed, they're being ostracized, or people that are being put in places, whether it's a war or it's, they're poor, they don't have a roof over their heads. We still have something that we can be grateful for, if not everything that we have, that we are. And as humanitarians, yes, our goal eventually will be to help those that are in need, and to remember that this money, this blessing that we are getting, yes, it is going to be for us, but it's never for us. It's a God gift, and we should use it accordingly and give back to humanity. Before this whole dynamic of the whole, we were programmed to believe that we have scarcity. We're going to have abundance. Let's share it and be good with one another. And it starts with your neighbor. It starts with everyone. So 100%. Let's be grateful. Yeah, let's be kind, generous within our hearts, within our thoughts, and our lips. I always say it's important to remember that your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your senses, everything has to rebalance in order to be able to rebalance everything around you. And your actions and who you are will eventually light up the light that you need for those that are in need also, and they will come to you, or you'll be able to see them and be able to help them with all your heart and all who you are. So God bless everyone.
Well,
so
you too, my darling brother. And say hello to your other brother, Peter. Peter
Have a great afternoon, Mel. Thank you.
No worries at all, darling. You too. See you soon. Peter, would you like to say it? And Shine, if you're still there, darling, please bring yourself back up and I'll put you up before we go. Peter, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Excellent.
Can you hear me?
I certainly can. Yes.
my question's about Whiplash 347.
Yeah.
When you buy an asset on there, some of the things that come along with it are all these houses and whatever. I just wondering what your opinion on that is. Because they're part of they're part of a reward system. If you buy at a certain level, you get houses and lots of other things. I just wondering what your opinion is.
Okay, Peter, I have looked into it. This is my thought process in all of that. Understand the amount of assets that have been seized. Okay. And what are they going to do with them? What are they going to do with them? The only concern that I did have was the amount of assets that have been pre-sold or sold, and the more assets come onto that. There's many layers to that, Peter. But again, whatever your gut intuition or your gut brain and your brain is telling you to do, that's what you do. But yeah, I mean, they have to give them to someone and somehow and some way. So that's what they did. So yeah, that is one way that they would certainly be able to give it back to the people. So yeah, I don't have any funds, so I don't get involved in it. So I know that people have certainly gifted through that because of the way it's set up. But as I said, they have to put them somewhere. So we'll see what happens there, Peter. We really will. But it made logical sense to me in the sense that they're offering it to those who want to be involved. Other people see it as something different. But again, go with what your instincts are telling you, Peter, and see how it rolls. So
yeah, that was my wife's opinion. Taking it off the baddies and giving it back to the goodies.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what happens. So.
That's all I had to ask you. Thanks.
That's all right, Peter. No worries. Leila.
Hi, Leila. Hi. I just wanted to tell you that I love you, and I've been listening to you for a long time. And I'm here in the United States, in the state of Kentucky, and I just follow you so much and just love everything you say and take it.
Oh, thank you, honey.
And I just would love to meet you someday. So if you're ever in Kentucky, I'm going to find out about it and find you. And I just
yeah, Kentucky and New Jersey are definitely going to have to be on my new list. That is for certain.
Well, it's spring here in Kentucky.
Some amazing people in Kentucky.
Well, it's spring in Kentucky, and it's beautiful, and we'd love to have you here because you're beautiful too. And thank you so much for everything you do for all of us. Lots of love
worries.
to you.
Yeah, and David Wisby, I just saw you popping into the house. We'll definitely catch up with you, Aussie G and Bubbles, next time we're on. I'm writing down these names so that we get to catch up very, very, very soon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 111 here. That's a great way to start a new beginning, isn't it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a good night from me. We look forward to catching up with you on Wacky Wednesday, where you get all the news, views, and opinions. It will be about this time again on Wednesday, so that we get to catch up with as many people across the world as we possibly can. Ladies and gentlemen, stay cool, stay calm, stay collected. Enjoy the show. We'll see you all on the flip side. Bye for now.
Okay, wow. That was a big one for this week, you guys. Boz, that was a big one. I want to do 3 5-minute ones to make it a 3-hour one. And then tonight we'll come back at 6. And we got Billy Bean. I knew she was going to come out. She has a 33-minute one, but we'll save that for tonight. I want to finish off with three short ones here. Dan has a 7-minute one from TikTok. We'll play that one. I know, buddy. Hang on. Almost done.
This is one of the finest clips you'll see today. This guy understands that Christopher Wray, who hopefully will be leaving his job the minute Trump is sworn in, Matt Gaetz gets it. The FBI management has worked as a singular force to destroy liberties and freedoms in the United States, and they better get a guy in there who's willing to see it for what it is. This guy sees it. Watch this.
I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI
Well, you
does
won't
not
answer the
and has
question.
no
Hold on.
interest in
You won't answer the
protecting
question
anyone
about whether or not
politically.
that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you.
Now, apparently some Republican senators are bitching and moaning and griping already. This guy, Andrew Desiderio, says, hey, my phone's blowing up with Republican aides aghast at the nomination of Gaetz. Were they aghast at the nomination of Derek Farland, sometimes known as Merrick Garland? I'm not so sure. They didn't sound aghast. State Senator Michael Holstrom doing God's work and exposing evil by reading aloud books crazy Democrats who hate Donald Trump and everyone else want in your kid's school. You've been warned for the last time. This is pretty nasty stuff. Check it out.
I look at some of the books that we're seeing commonly implemented in our libraries. We see, I actually went this morning and found this book is gay. And this book, among other things, it recommends to young children how to flirt in gay bars. It recommends to children how to enter into non-consensual sexual relationships. And I'll read here. Oral sex is popping another dude's peen in your mouth or indeed popping yours and his. There's only one way, hard and fast rule when it comes to jobs. Watch the teeth. And then it goes on to say that letting any guy come in your mouth is safe sex.
Okay.
No.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Oh, this isn't appropriate for this committee?
We don't need to read items that actually, it's not the things that you're reading that are inappropriate. You got your clippable moment. Maybe we could just move on.
It just seems absurd that this is appropriate for a 12-year-old, but not for the senators in this committee.
Folks, this is evil. Sexualizing your 12-year-old kid who is totally and completely unprepared for this about jobs, and jumps up on the stage. He's like, yeah, man, you guys basically suck. This is the soundbite and snapshot they get. Check this out.
Is the trials and tribulations that every immigrant, that every refugee goes through to get here and to press this country to the border. I stuck in the border. Go Trump. Go Trump! Hey, Murphy, you're scumbag. Thanks, man.
Anybody see this one?
Thanks, buddy.
Sound bites and snapshots, kids. There it is. Don't ask questions you don't have the answer to. Here was their other rally they had last night in defiance of the State of the Union. I don't even know how to explain what this is.
And tonight, I defy Trump and his authoritarian project by standing in joyful, radical, peaceful resistance with the Portland Frog Brigade.
Listen to Dan on this one, please. The Democrat reaction is as important as the Trump speech because it makes the parallel lines appear that they're leaning in towards each other. It makes the same. Folks, when I ran for office, we didn't even raise $6 million total, number one. So it's a fairly obvious math problem. Second, you can go to the FEC website, Federal Elections Commission, and look that up, and you'll see that that's totally, completely ridiculous, absurd. You can look yourself. Don't take my word for it. But they know no one will do it. So they put that out there to try it again. You're entitled to say, hate my guts. Go for it. However, the input that I took $6 million from AIPAC is complete, total bullshit. Oh, there it is. Look, $6 million. Receive $6 million. That's interesting. So go to the FEC website and find that, my $6 million. I'll give you $6 million if you can find it. That's how confident I am. I'll try to make it cash. You got to pay the taxes. Yeah, and just dropped a new video yesterday. You think Minnesota was bad? This video in California, I'd argue, is even worse. It shows the lunacy of these lying fake news and blue city crazies where they're out. There's a guy on the street, looks like he's dying. They're out there with the Narcan while simultaneously distributing drug delivery, like needles and stuff. Here's how to kill yourself while we give you the unkill yourself, don't get dead Narcan. If you're like, no, I'm just showing you what he's covered out there. You judge for yourself. Check this out.
This guy is clearly, he's passed out right now. How do we know that he is still alive and that he doesn't need Narcan right now?
He's breathing. You see his chest rising and it's going up and down and his color's good. Now, if he's blue, he's not responsive, his color's gone, he'd be like a blue, gray, purple color, then you know he's overdosing.
Okay.
So the most important thing is to hit him with Narcan. Doesn't matter how much Narcan you give him. You know, if you got 3 in here, give him all 3 and rescue breaths.
Okay, so what's in here? What's inside this bag?
Okay, so
this Narcan you inject into their nose and it brings them back to life.
Yes, sir, yeah.
They're giving out drugs for people to kill themselves. Did you hear the middle of that, by the way? Apparently, they're so familiar with people ODing in a lot of these blue cities that they've got this whole process. Is he dead? The guy's like, no, I don't think he's dead. You can see like his penises in the women's room, and they don't want kids' bodies mutilated. It's pretty popular amongst Americans to stop that kind of stuff for obvious reasons. Walks them right in the trap. Hey, you guys want to stand if you support basically the integrity of children's bodies? Democrats are like, nah, we'll sit on our asses right here. This is not going to look good in campaign ads at all. Check this out.
No state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we've been talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. We're lucky we have a country with people like this. Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
He just dog walked you. Bear trap, 20 feet ahead. Don't.
Okay, that was the latest on Dan. I got two more 5 minutes.
The integrity and accountability within our government. So tonight we offer the written and spoken words of the members of this body for the public to hear. On February 14th, Councilman Joe Davis emailed to private citizens and entities a document titled Comprehensive Feasibility Study, Washington, North Carolina, Community Growth, Economic Development, and Strategic Investment Analysis. This study has not been adopted by this body, nor has it been published for public inspection. On page 36 of this study, it states, quote, "The City of Washington has indicated a willingness to share or fully fund the feasibility study as a demonstration of its commitment to the YMCA partnership."
Oh, this one, you guys.
However, I could not find any minutes or budget ordinance amendments that approved the distribution of the approximate $30,000 in taxpayer funds. In the study, Mayor Brabo is mentioned 5 times, often described as, quote, young small business owner and a U.S. Army veteran. Councilman Nick Fritz is mentioned 9 times, described as a serial entrepreneur and referenced for leading a $25 million charter school investment project for the city. Councilman Max Peralt was mentioned 9 times as a, quote, energetic conservative. Joe Davis was mentioned 20 times in the study and described as the owner of Scouts Focus, which itself was referenced as an entity 9 additional times in the document. Even retiring NC House District 79 Representative Keith Kidwell is mentioned in the study multiple times. Do you know who's not mentioned in the study? The other 2 city council members who are a voting member of this body. The Main Street Coalition believes these omissions are intentional. At last month's city council meeting, we heard Councilman Nick Fritz say to Councilman Horton and Councilman Tyree, I had, quote, hoped to work with you, but if you insist, we will work around you. And it appears that's not just mafia talk. On February 25th, 2026, Councilman Fritz and Councilman Davis participated in a Zoom meeting with members of the NC Alliance of the YMCAs. At the 2-minute mark of the meeting transcript, Councilman Davis introduces himself and Fritz by saying, quote, we just got it on a few months. We just got a new nucleus of like-minded individuals that possess the majority of the council now. Then at the 24-minute mark, Councilman Davis states, quote, we would hand over the whole recreation department, end quote. Now, let's go to another document. The federal lawsuit filed in October by Mayor Bravo, which in that document and this in this lawsuit against the city of Washington filed by the mayor, on lines 148 to 170, she alleges her First Amendment rights were violated and that the city had no compelling interest in preventing its citizens from discussing matters of public concern by limiting the comments on the city's Facebook page, a public forum. The hypocrisy is transparent. Those are their words. When decisions about public assets and matters of public concern are discussed privately with outside organizations before the public is informed, and when public forums are closed upon the whims and wishes of the mayor, that's not transparency. That is government actively working around the people and taking steps to silence citizens on public forums. It is an assault on democracy. They ran on transparency rhetoric that they never intended to maintain. And we, the people, deserve better. And they're saying, Mr. Peralt, that they own you. And until you stand up and you show that they don't, they in fact do. Thank you for your time.
Okay, I thought that was an important one. Okay, last one till tonight at 6.
Unique situation and get your dollar you deserve. So hand off your taxes to a local TurboTax expert today.
4 electric buses burned overnight in Vermont, forcing school to cancel classes today. Let's look at what happened and what we know so far. You found Stashed. I'm Pat, firefighter, mechanical engineer, and battery guy. A custodian called 911 at about 10:20 p.m. on March 11, 2026 to report the buses burning. This was at the Allen Brook School in Williston, Vermont. The Williston Fire Department arrived within minutes and found 4 electric school buses already burning, and they were quite well involved. Crews were able to knock down the fire pretty quickly, but the buses were heavily damaged. It appears that the school district owned 8 electric buses, so half of them were destroyed. The district first purchased 2 line electric buses in 2021, and then in 2024, they leased 6 additional electric buses built by Thomas. I did reach out to both the school district and fire department to see if they could provide more details while I'm looking into the incident. But after looking closely at the images from the scene, I believe the 4 buses that burned were actually the newer Thomas buses, not the original Lion buses. Early this morning, I actually received a couple emails from viewers that live in the area that confirmed those buses were likely the newer ones and told me they were plugged in and charging at the time of the fire. And honestly, that part isn't surprising. Since this happened overnight after school hours, they were likely charging. That's what the buses would normally be doing. Assuming there was no foul play involved, and based on the damage visible in these photos, it looks like this fire likely started in one of the buses on the left-hand side of the row. The other buses that burned were probably exposures, meaning the fire spread from the first vehicle to the ones parked next to it. There's a lot of factors that influence how the fire spreads between vehicles. Wind can play a huge role, but so can the way these vehicles are parked. And that's one of the challenges with fleet vehicles in general. They're usually parked very close together to maximize space. And that's not just electric vehicles, that's all fleet vehicles. If one catches fire, it often doesn't take long for that fire to spread to the vehicles parked next to it, turning a single vehicle fire into multiple losses. At this point, we don't know where the fire started or whether the batteries were involved. Just looking at the extent of the damage, There is a good chance the battery packs burned in at least some of these buses, but right now it's still speculation. And I'm already seeing a lot of misconceptions online about electric vehicle fires. For example, I came across a comment on Facebook claiming that an electric bus will burn for days. That's not how this works. Yes, an EV battery pack can be stubborn sometimes, but it really depends on the vehicle's construction and specifically the battery construction, the pack design, and the types of cells that are used. For example, battery packs that use pouch-style cells can often burn through all of those cells relatively quickly, at least once one cell gets going. And one important thing to understand is that you can't determine the battery involvement just by looking at the outside of the pack. The pack has to be removed from the vehicle, disassembled to really understand what's going on. I've seen battery packs that look completely destroyed on the outside, only to find cells untouched inside. And I've seen the opposite as well, where the outside of the pack looks relatively intact, but the cells on the inside were completely consumed. Fun fact, about 86% of the viewers aren't subscribed. If you enjoy this channel, help me get to 100K this year. Regardless of the cause, these buses were basically brand new. And that's something I've noticed with several of these electric bus incidents. When a diesel bus catches on fire, it's often a much older vehicle near the end of its life. These buses, on the other hand, were only a few years old. Then when you look at the cost difference, it makes the loss more significant. According to reports, when the school district originally purchased these buses, a typical diesel school bus cost right around $90,000, while the electric buses were closer to $350,000 each. Now that seems a little low for the diesel bus, but things have gotten a lot more expensive over the last few years. But it still gives you a sense of the difference. If 4 of these buses were destroyed, that puts the vehicle loss alone at right around $1.4 million. And that doesn't include any potential damage to the charging infrastructure, which could add tens of thousands more. Right now, they're saying right around $2 million was the loss. The district did send an email to parents to let them know school was canceled for the day. They said the closure was due to cleanup from the fire and loss of student transportation. But they also did assure parents that there's no issues with the buildings themselves. The district also stated that the remaining 2 electric buses would not be operated until the cause of the fire was determined. At the very least, it allows investigators time to determine whether this fire was related to the vehicles themselves, the charging equipment, or something else entirely. I am curious if they're still using the Lion Electric school buses, and if they are, I have some concerns. Between the quality issues we've seen, several fire incidents, and reports that the company has stopped honoring warranty obligations in the United States, it really puts school districts in a tough position. Personally, I wouldn't recommend running them. Fires involving fleet vehicles, electric or diesel, can spread quickly when they're parked close together like this. So identifying the point of origin will be key to understanding exactly what happened. As more details come out from this investigation, I'll provide you an update.
Energy is... Hey, that's a new guy there on YouTube there. I thought that was a good one important one to end the show with. So tonight's show, we'll play the 15-minute ones, but we got a 33-minute Billy Bean. I'm going to try to get to the 5-10-minute ones too. But that Mel was an hour, 10 minutes, so that was a long one. But we got quite a bit out for 3 hours. So, have a good few hours, and I'll see you after dinner time. God bless everybody. Love all. Please hit the like. And thanks, mods. Kay, Flying Eagle, Lucy, Carol, and Tim. And Carol must be, I don't know, she must be sick or something. I haven't seen Carol. Must be busy. Lucy, I thought was in, must be lurking. All right. Well, God bless everybody. Love all. Stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith. Never give up. We'll see you all in a little while here. And signing off. Chico saying bye too. We're going outside, Chico. Come on. And dude, and we'll see you guys soon.